Get ready for a powerhouse of inspiration. Principal Baruti Kafele. A highly regarded educator and a transformational leader, Principal Kafele has spent over 20 years in New Jersey's urban schools, making a lasting impact as both a master teacher and a turnaround principal. Under his leadership, the mighty Newark Tech transformed from a low-performing school to one of America's best, as recognized by U.S. News and World Report 3 times. A recipient of the prestigious Milken Educator Award, Principal Kafele is one of the most sought-after voices in school leadership and equity. He's delivered over 3,000 keynotes, workshops, and seminars across the nation, authored 13 books, including 7 ASCD bestsellers, and continues to empower leaders through his live-streamed AP and New Principals Academy. Please join us in welcoming the extraordinary Principal Baruti Kafele.
And we are live. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to week 296 consecutively of the AP and New Principals Academy. Let me see who we got joining us this morning on this second day of Kwanzaa. Kuji Chakalia, self-determination. We got LaKenya rolling one. She said good morning. We got Edwin Garcia, Passaic, Kimberly Broughton Kafele. Oh, she up early this morning in terms of the rankings. She said Habatagani family. Happy holidays to you all. Queen of the castle. Right underneath me, y'all. Let me say this before I go to another name. Right underneath me here, I'm literally touching him. Ace is back. My daughter's dog, she's here too, but Ace is back. So there may be some barks here and there. There was one while the video was playing, but he's here, right? So he's sitting right beneath me. Stay down. All right, here we go. We got Jocelyn Nelson down in Orlando, Florida. Much better weather than with my son is out shoveling all the snow from last night. So that's where we are. Retired Principal Dot McKee Vegeta, Calumet City, Illinois is in the building. We got Tony McClenny, Battle Creek, Michigan. Tracy Gray is here from Houston. Principal McMillan is in the building. Where we at? September Devon Vance Daniels in Newark. We're here. Dr. Joe Griffin is here. What'd he say? Oh, just greeting the two of us. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where we at? And he's in Los Angeles. We got Church trombonist. There we go. Oak Forest, Illinois. We got Annette McMahon is in the building. MPA Jaguars, Josh Tovar is here. We got Amelia Lange. Y'all see me, I be leaning up closer with the YouTube names. You gotta get closer to see these, man. It's a little different world, man. I still want y'all to go to YouTube, but y'all gotta make them names so I can read them. Kareem Orabel Warren is in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Arcella Austria is in North Carolina. Dr. Melissa Jones-Chunu is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We got Annette McMahon. I think, oh yeah, I said it. She said, hey, Ace. Hey, Ace, somebody spoke to you. All right. We got, where we at? David Bell is in Benton Harbor, Michigan. We got, where we at? AD Net Faison is in the building. We got Dr. Salma Hussein up there in Minneapolis. If you missed my recent interview with her, go back and check that out. It was very powerful. So I want you to see that. And then she'll be back on later on in the year as well. We got Jasmine Harris, California in the building. Where we at? Vanessa Zeskin is out in Connecticut. We got Kenyelle Session, Oklahoma City. Hey, Kenyelle, let me holler at you for a minute. Kenyelle Sessions from Oklahoma City. So y'all, those of you who are not basketball fans, y'all not going to get this one, right? But she will. Kenyelle, 3 to the same team. San Antonio Spurs, 3. Y'all gonna have to do some rebuilding, Kenyelle. And let me tell you this, Kenyelle. They got a little cocky. I don't know if you know that, but they were like talking about they could do podcasts during the fourth quarter. They were actually saying that, if you're not aware of that. Like they didn't need the fourth quarter because they were blowing teams out. That's how they lost at least 2 games on comebacks And now all that cockiness about y'all could play games in the fourth quarter, right? Podcasting and all that, while Victor Wembanyama and the rest of the team is blowing y'all away on Christmas Day. It's time to get real. It's time to get serious. We all need wake-up calls in life. You know, it's normal. But Kenyell Session, I just had to throw that your way, right? We got Casey Washington in the building, Chicago. We got where we at? We got Chris Smith, Newport News in the building. Write your story, he said. That's right. Dr. Michelle Perkins Griffin. Hey, Michelle, you haven't been using doctor. Is that new? Right? Let me know. Hit me up in that chat because I don't recall seeing that before. Right? Let me know. I'm getting ready to close it out, y'all. We got Ashley Miller in the building. Little Rock, Arkansas is in the building. We got Grace Castaneda, as she said, go Spurs. There you go. Otis Kitchen II, not building. They definitively are being humble. There you go. They're being humble. Love it for the league, though. Yeah. You're right, Principal Kitchen. It's definitely good for the league, man. It's always nice to have rivalries, right? As opposed to everybody's jersey swapping, right? Hugging each other, right? I like to see some blood. They got blood between them two teams. Kenyell said, I know, we're working on them here at home. We getting them together. You get them right. Dr. Sheikah Houston, they did a fabulous session. They right from Charlotte Douglas Airport right now. They did a fabulous session. If you missed them, Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor, go back and check it out. They kind of did a recap of the year, and it was phenomenal. And then I see Sean Hurt right behind him up in Detroit. Once again, you know, he's doing the NWEA prep. So if you missed that and you have NWEAs coming up, then you definitely want to go back and watch that session, right? And he didn't have enough time. He's going to do more next week, but that's NWEA. That's with Sean Hurt. So Sean Hurt, 10 o'clock every Saturday morning, followed by Create and Educate. 10:30, Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor. Us at 10:55. I'm shifting to 11 though on January, whatever the first Saturday in January is. I think it's the 3rd. I'm shifting to 11 o'clock, right? We just keep it on the hour, right? So 11 o'clock. Put that in your notes. 11 o'clock. So if you don't see me 10:57, 10:58, don't think I'm not coming on. I'll be on. I'll be on at 11 o'clock on the button, right? So myself and my guests will be on at 11 o'clock. And then Sunday, shift over to Josh Tovar. And next Sunday, I'll be on with him. But not this Sunday, not tomorrow, but next Sunday, I'll be on with Josh. And that's at 11. That's at 6 o'clock Eastern time. 6 o'clock Eastern time, right? With Josh Tovar and Marty Moreno. Let me cap it right there. I see it's a lot of people on here, man. It's a lot of y'all here. Sean said he needed more time. I know maybe we need to restructure the entire Saturday, you know, for all of us. You know, we need to talk about that. But anyway, let me say to everybody now formally, good morning, greetings, welcome to week 296 consecutively of the AP and New Principals Academy. Hey, y'all, how you feeling on this Saturday morning, December 27th? I'm feeling good, man. It's gloomy outside. A lot of snow on the ground. I don't shovel snow anymore, not because I got old and lazy, but because of the heart attack. The doctor said, don't pick up a shovel. I'm like, no problem. So I don't mess with shovels no more. So, you know, we got the sons or we got the people that walk through to take care of the snow, right? But how you feeling? I hope you're feeling good. I hope the holidays are I shouldn't say, I was going to say treated you well, but I should say are treating you well because we're still in them. Right. So I hope the holidays are treating you well. I hope you're able to take it down a little bit, but I do hope that you are projecting at some point into what 2026 will represent for you professionally speaking. I feel like a bark is getting ready to come from Ace because he heard something. I guess he's cool. I'll say it in advance. Be quiet. Right. He didn't bark yet, but we said it in advance. Right. So but I hope the holidays are treating you well as we take it down a little bit. I'm certainly taking it down a little bit, but then we ratchet it back up later on. So let's stay focused there. So let me go through these announcements. First, I don't have any shout outs in terms of anywhere I've been. I don't think I was anywhere. I mean, I did go to South Carolina, but that was for a funeral. So, you know, but I do want to acknowledge today is the second day of Kwanzaa, a holiday created in 1966 by a man, Dr. Maulana Karenga, a scholar, holder of not one PhD, but 2 PhDs, historian, researcher, scholar, storyteller. I can go on and on, activist as well. But today is the second day. There's 7 days for those of you that don't know. I'm not going to do a Kwanzaa seminar. You can join us on Black Educators Rock every day throughout the 7 days at 8 o'clock Eastern time for that. BER. Just go there. Well, I'll be sharing it to my page too on Facebook, but BER on Facebook. But real quick, the 7 days unity, and I'll give you the English and the Kiswahili. Unity, umoja, self-determination, kujichagulia, collective work and responsibility, ujima, cooperative economics, ujamaa, purpose, nia, creativity, kaumba, and faith, imani. Those are the 7 days. So today is kujichagulia, meaning self-determination, and it's defined simply as to name ourselves, speak for ourselves, create for ourselves, build for ourselves, instead of being spoken for, created for, built for by others, right? So that's the principle of the day. That's the focus of the day. That's the concentration of the day for celebrants of Kwanzaa, right? Kwanzaa means first fruits, is a Kiswahili word that comes out of East Africa. So I just wanted to give you that quick overview. Next, welcome to all the first timers today. I know that we're in the holiday season, so the numbers are probably not going to be what they may accustomed to be, but then again, you never know, right? But if you're a first timer, welcome to you. Glad you're here, but realize you've missed 295 sessions, right? Just realize that. So now you got to go and go to the YouTube channel, AP and New Principals Academy, and you got to make up for it and watch all them sessions, right? 295 sessions, including today, and get caught up. You know, I've been on this chat GPT for a while now, for a little while, I should say, not a while, but a little while. And I ask it a lot of questions about my work, about, just about what I do, but I also ask it a lot of questions about this platform. And it keeps, I'm always wondering, is it algorithm driven? Is it really giving me the real information? And every time I put it in, I just ask, what is the most widely watched platform for assistant principals? What's the most widely watched platform for new principals? And every time, 100% of the time, this comes up first, right? So that's a blessing to say that, I created a platform for assistant principals, for new principals, new administrators, that is the most widely watched platform on all of YouTube, right? So kudos. I'm grateful for that. That so many people see it as something beneficial to their professional learning, their professional growth, their professional development. So we're going to keep it there. So make sure you let people know that we're here live all the time. And the beauty with the Fantastic Four, we're not doing the same thing. All of us are different. All of us are approaching and addressing very different areas of the same thing called school leadership. So we don't overlap. We complement one another, but we're not saying the same thing. And quite frankly, we're not quite speaking to the same audiences, right? There's overlap, obviously, with some of us, some of the folks on here. They watch all four, but then there are others who watch just Sean, others who watch just Create and Educate, others who watch just AP New Principals Academy, and others who watch just PGP Podcast. So it's all good. It's complimentary. And I think it makes the world a little bit better. Let's go. Next, before I get to my guest today, let me just get it on up here. I got to show you this, man. I get those numbers, I guess, next week, or maybe the end of this week, right? Coming up. Yeah, the end of this week, if they're open, ASCD, just to know if I made that bestseller list. I'm not optimistic about that at all. And I'm good with it. I understand the economy. I understand how it impacted the publishing industry. It impacted my book, right? It impacted all of my books, during the holiday season and beyond and before, all that kind of thing. It is what it is. This is the world we're living in right now. I'm dealing with it like you are. But still in all, if you don't have a copy, get yourself a copy. To me, reflecting upon the 14 books that I've written, I don't have a book that I've written, nor do I have a book that I will write that will surpass this book in terms of just the quality of the book, right? There's just so much in it. It's so rich in terms of making you that much better as an instructional leader, or just getting you to think differently about your instructional leadership, right? So if you don't have a copy, go to Principal Cafe. No, don't go there. Go to Amazon. Or go to ascd.org. You can go to principalcafe.com, and then it will link you to either Amazon or ascd.org. I would be remiss if I didn't throw this on the screen as well. Where we at? Amir's Awakening. right? His amazing journey to ancient Egypt. This is written by both Dr. Sheikah Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor. It's children's literature. Get yourself a copy at Amazon. I wrote an endorsement on the back. That's all me. Where we at? Where we at? I can't even do it right in reverse. Yeah, that's my endorsement. That's a lot of words there because that's what I think of this book, right? So get yourself a copy of this book. All right, let's go, y'all. We got a lot to cover. I don't like to take this much time in the intro, but certain things just have to be done. So let me share the screen right quick and get this up here, and here we go. Here we go. Let me get this back and change this here a little bit. Yeah, I want you to think about coming to South Orange, New Jersey, to Seton Hall University conference. I partnered with TISO. That's Dr. Tanya Breland and Dr. Erica Leak. And we're putting on this conference with Dr. Salome Thomas L. Principal L will be our keynoter, but putting on this educational conference, whole lot of different topics and themes. We're not locked into any one particular thing. Just wanted to give people an opportunity to go where they want to go as far as the breakout sessions. So come on to South Orange to Seton Hall University. Hit the QR code or the website address that you see there. It's not a link, so so just take a picture of the screen and then go on and register and come on and join us here in Jersey, right? That's I'd love to see you in the building. So I'll keep that up for anybody that wants to take a picture of it. But also join me in Savannah, Georgia, July 9 and 10 for the 9th annual School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele. I don't have the information up on Eventbrite yet, but I'll have it up probably by January. Which is right around the corner, and then you can start registering. And we like to see about 100. We keep it small, keep it intimate, so we can know everybody's name, right? So, so come on and join me in Savannah, Georgia, the 9th annual School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele. It will not be anything you've seen before if you've already come in the past, because we make sure that we're different every year, right? We don't replicate them, right? They're always different content. So come on out and join me. All right, let me get this off of here. Where we at? There we go. Matter of fact, I need to stop the share. There we go. All right. My monologue. Let me get through this real quick, man. I'm gonna try to keep it short, man. I'm gonna be real frank with y'all, because Dr. Jackson is my man, so he don't mind me being frank with y'all. I had a topic between my monologue and the session today, week number 296. And Marcus hit me up like, I don't know, Thursday, Wednesday, one of them days. And he said, man, I got something. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go with you. But I had already prepared, right? So now we had to start from zero and start over. So I said, well, let me take a piece of what I was going to do and make it my monologue, right? And whatever my monologue was going to be, we'll put that for another time. So once again, my monologue for today, it is called, matter of fact, I don't even remember what I called it. Where we at here? All right, my monologue for today is, man, y'all see I'm a little unorganized, man. I mean, Marcus threw me off. Here we go. All right, y'all, my monologue today is instructional leadership and teacher perceptions, right? Instructional leadership and teacher perceptions. I just want to give you these 10 questions. I want to keep any and these are questions for you to reflect on. I'm not going to put them on the screen because I don't want to take that kind of time. I just want you to go back to the video later and rewind it and get these questions, but I want you to hold on to these. Number one, teacher perceptions of who you are as instructional leader. Number one, of the teachers that I supervise, what would be their narrative? What would be their narrative of me as instructional leader? Once again, of the teachers that I supervise, what would their narrative be of me as instructional leader? Right? Just what's in their head, right? Of who you are as instructional leader at your school right now, in real time. Number two, how am I currently being perceived by the teachers that I supervise in my capacity of instructional leader? So the difference between the two, the one is their written narrative, but that second, that perception. So like, do they perceive that you're effective? Do they perceive that they're growing because you are in the building with them? What is their perception of your leadership instructionally? Number 3, can my teachers look at me and conclude that they are better teachers because of the collegial relationship I have established with them? Again, can my teachers look at me and conclude that they are better teachers because of the collegial relationship I have established with them? So in other words, I'm just saying to you, can they look into your eyes and without saying a word to you about it, know within their heart, I'm better. I have grown. I am that much more effective because of our collegial relationship. That's what that's asking. So with these questions, hold up a mirror, y'all. Hold up a mirror. Number 4, who in fact am I relative to the instructional growth and development of the teachers that I supervise? So now you flipping that mirror like this here onto you, right? And you're asking the question, who in fact, and I use that word in fact intentionally, who in fact am I relative to the instructional growth and development of the teachers that I supervise? Whew. Who are you? Number 5, why would the teachers that I supervise have reason to believe that I am an asset to their instructional practices and their ongoing professional growth and development? That's a lot of words there. Let me get that to you one more time. Why would the teachers that I supervise have reason to believe that I am an asset to their instructional practices and their ongoing professional growth and development? Woo! All of these are like ouch questions, but that's a super ouch. That's like, ouch, man. You throwing like the Mike Tyson hooks at me, man. Yeah, you got that right. Number 6, do the teachers that I supervise perceive that my practice as a teacher adds value to their current practices as teachers? Now that one gets a little controversial sometimes. Let me read it one more time. Do the teachers that I supervise perceive that my past practice as a teacher adds value to their current practices as teachers? I know that because of what I did as a teacher, and because I taught and led in the same district. So I'll say it. I hope it doesn't. I hope it's not perceived or received other than how I would want it received. I knew my reputation as a teacher preceded me into leadership. So I knew I had teachers that knew that I handled my business in the classroom. That's my point, right? So what about your past as a teacher? What does it say to the teachers that you supervise? That's what the question is saying. Because imagine you were not that good. You were ineffective, but somehow got into leadership anyway. Or imagine you in one of them schools like a charter school where you didn't even teach and now you lead and the teachers are looking at you sideways, right? That's what I mean, right? You're going to have to deal with that at some level if you're in that position, because those perceptions, those conversations when you're not around are recurring. I promise you that. Next one, number 7. Do the teachers that I supervise perceive that I share appropriate instructional strategies with them? Again, do the teachers that I supervise perceive that I share appropriate instructional strategies with them? So in other words, when we're having a conversation, the teacher's not going to say to you, this strategy you're offering me is really flawed. They're not going to say that to you. So what is their perception about your suggestions? Of course, it's mutual. It's a two-way street, those conversations, but that's in a longer session. We ain't going into all that specificity. What is their perception of what you offer? Do they feel, ooh, this is going to help me? Or do they feel, he don't know my classroom. He don't even know pedagogy. Or she, right? Number 8. Do the teachers that I supervise perceive that I am well-versed in good, sound pedagogy that benefits all learners? Do the teachers feel you are conversant in good, sound pedagogy that benefits all learners? I got 2 more, y'all. Number 9. Do the teachers that I supervise perceive that I offer a variety of instructional strategies that consider the differing academic needs of their students? That's called, some of y'all in states where you can't say this word, so I'll whisper it to you. That's called equity, right? I'll say that's called equity. See, some of y'all in states where if you say equity, you might be unemployed, right? So, but let me read it again. Do the teachers that I supervise perceive that I offer a variety of instructional strategies that consider the differing academic needs of their students? Ooh, that's really where the rubber meets the road, that one. You know, and when I'm speaking to a live audience, I always say with that question, does your instruction consider the young principal Kafeles that are sitting in your classroom, the one who failed all through high school, attended 5 high schools, right? I mean, 4 high schools over 5 years, but graduated summa cum laude in college. See, so the young principal Kafele who was failing was probably the valedictorian, but nobody knew that. That's what that question is asking. And then finally, do the teachers that I supervise perceive me as a source of sound instructional strategies? Enough said, y'all. Let's get the good doctor up here. Let me just get my notes right, man. I got 2 sets of notes in front of me, so just y'all give me a second here. Here we go. I'm good. Let's go. I changed the background already, I think. Let's go. Yeah, there we go. Let me just drop this down one bit. There we go. Good morning to you from Nassau, Bahamas. How you doing, Dr. Jackson?
Man, I'm better than terrific. Feeling good, man. You knocked that out the park with that monologue, Doc.
I try, man. I'm trying to get like you. You know, so
some great questions, and it matched the shift that you and I talked about. If you look at the word "it" that you're about to speak about in a minute, that's instructional leadership and teacher perception.
That's right.
Instructional leadership and teacher perception. That's it.
That's it. Instructional leadership, teacher perceptions. Let's stay there for a minute before we go. Hey, y'all, look, this is the last Saturday of the year. In 2020, I don't even know what year we in. I keep thinking we in 26 already. 2025, man, this was a year, man. I ain't even gonna get into it, y'all. This was a year. Ooh. So this is the last Saturday. Appreciate that, Jasmine. This was the last Saturday. This is the last Saturday of the year, y'all. If we go a little bit over, hang in there with us. Stay here with us. Don't go nowhere. If you're in the East Coast somewhere, it's snowing anyway. This will be your excuse not to go out and shovel. Let somebody ring your bell and let them do it, right? Or have somebody come over and do it, right? So let's so let me I'm saying I want to give you this backdrop. I said it before, but now I can kind of slow it down. So I'm on a plane. I went down to Charleston area, South Carolina, for a funeral, my wife and I. I said I could do the whole agenda. I see my aunt Kathy Matthews Baggett on here. I see you, Kathy. Good to see you. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do the agenda on the flight down, and then I'm gonna tweak it coming back. So by the time I got back to Newark, I'm ready. That was like Thursday, I think. I don't know, something, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever it was. So I'm ready. We good. I ain't got to worry about this no more. Then Dr. Jackson hit me up with a text, man. And I'm going to read a little bit of the text. He said this thing, this is me paraphrasing for a second. He said, I've been thinking a lot about this word, it, right? He said, I want to do this for Saturday. My mind is like, are you serious? I'm like, yo, man, I spent 2 flights on this, right? So then he wrote me something. He said the significance of it, like put that in quotes, it. He said, as educational leaders, we are currently, and this is what he wrote me, we are constantly asking ourselves, what's the it that must improve our schools to reach their optimal level. We examine instruction systems, culture, data, and outcomes. That professional reflection is critical. But here's the reality. He said the professional it and the personal it are deeply connected. The same it that limits us personally often shows up professionally. Now, it's the end of the week, y'all. That's like heavy. I'm like, I wrote Marcus back. I said, all right, you write them questions. I said, I ain't doing nothing, right? So he sent me to work, you know. So we good, man. But that's, you know, that, like Marcus was saying, that, you know, we flow, and that's how we flow. So Dr. Jackson, real quick, tell you before we get into the content, because the content is strong, thorough. Y'all better text somebody, call somebody, share this, repost, let them know, because we getting ready to talk about something that y'all might not be thinking about. The it. Doc, what are you talking about when you talk about the it?
Man, Kafeli, if I can go back to you shifted me with that instructional leadership and teacher perception now, because now when I think about that it, in reality, that's the work that we encompass as instructional leaders, as principals, as assistant principals. That instructional leadership and teacher perception, that's just pretty much in everything we actually do.
Yeah.
But man, I actually became infatuated with that word as an assistant principal, straight out of the classroom. At that time, we were living in our AYP days, annual yearly progress. You remember that? No Child Left Behind.
You are.
And I was at this school, Principal Kafeli, and they had all these flags in the driveway of the school that they've made AYP all these consecutive years. And I was like, whoa, what can I add? What is it that I can add to this school from a value perspective? And it took me a minute, and it was hidden in the data. Yes, they were making AYP all these consecutive years, but then I started digging in the data. What does that mean? And then I had an aha moment, which is similar to the aha moments that we're actually having now. And I realized that to pass English, you only need 62%. I only realized at that time to pass math, you only need 59.9% to actually pass. And so I revealed that it to our staff, and I say, hey, let's shoot a little higher. And I became infatuated with discovering that it. I spoke on here about how I had a group of 4th and 5th grade teachers that were literally about to fight. And at the core of their issues, all of them had something going on personally that was so severe. I'm talking about breast cancer, death of a family member. And once I found that I was able to resolve those problems. I gave, last time I was on here last month, I talked about departmentalizing. I discovered that that was able to take our school to the optimal level. And I'm doing that now at the central office level. You interviewed Devin. Devin needed somebody to care for him. I had to call him 78 times, though. I'm talking about 78 times. And after that 77 times, he called me back. That was Devin's it. I recently have a story about a little girl named Kendall who never passed a state standardized assessment her entire life. But we found her senior year, which was test anxiety. We found out she didn't know how to use a calculator. You know how important that serious calculator is her senior year. We realized 3 or 4 domains that she was interested in that she failed. And we attacked those domains, and boom, she took algebra first. Oh, and we had to turn the temperature down because she told us it was too cold in the room where we had the temperature on 70. So we bumped that up to 72. We found her and she was successful. And what I've been noticing, Principal Kafeli, I've become infatuated with that word, and we're all looking for that it. And if we can find that it for our students, for our teachers, for our principals, our school can go to higher heights. And you did as well when you became principal. Yeah. And it was in your curriculum. Hold on, let me expose our kids. Let me expose our kids to who they are.
That's right.
And the game was over.
Game was over.
So that's the history of it.
Yep.
For me.
I love it. Hey, y'all, we getting ready to get heavy into it. Hit that share button, retweet, repost, tag somebody, text somebody, hit up them Facebook leadership groups, let them know we are here, or even call somebody, let them know we're here. final session in 2025. I want to read this again. You said the reality is the professional it and the personal it are deeply connected. That's significant. The same it that limits us personally often shows up professionally. I want to share that with the fam one more time. The same it that limits us personally often shows up professionally. So if that particular thing is a part of who you are in real time, on the personal side, it's probably going to creep right into your professional life is the point that's being made, right? So here you gave us these scenarios. Talk to us about, Dr. Jackson, the deep connection between the professional it and the personal it relative to procrastination that delays instructional decisions.
Man, that was actually a deep one there, Kafele. And there used to be an old cliche that actually stated, leave all your problems and issues and concerns at the door. Leave those outside. Don't bring them inside. And if you have those old habits and those issues in your personal life, they will definitely seep into your professional life. Man, I have a specific routine and thing that I actually do on a daily basis, which actually where I begin making my bed. That's my first accomplishment of the day. I mean, I make it neat. And the night before I get all my clothes out, I'm so organized at that point because there's so many people depending on me. I have to start that night preparing for the next day and prepare that next morning for the actual day. And all of that is important. And if any of that is off, my colleagues know that. If I'm having an off day personally, they know that. And the first question that they see me if I'm off is everything okay? Are you okay, Dr. Jackson? And if I'm not. So to actually marry those two, Principal Kafele, in regards to your personal piece that you're bringing into your professional piece, they actually will show up. Somebody will challenge you. Your response will be differently because you have this it that's going on in your mind. That's going to show up in regards to your communication with others, either verbally or non-verbally. And it's just something that can't be avoided. But if you're knowledgeable of that it and take care of that it piece personally, the chances of your day professionally being better goes to a higher level.
Yeah. So that, just to the fam, just that example of procrastination. Procrastination is tough, when you talk about school leadership, right? You're putting things off, for another time, but time keeps coming. But if that's who you are outside of school, and now you've brought that same energy, that same habit into leadership, man, that's that it, as we're using that terminology, that can undermine you. One thing I can say about myself, I'm not a procrastinator, particularly with things that I want done, like this 296 weeks. I've never procrastinated around this platform. It's like, all right, it's Wednesday. That's really when I get started. Let's go. And then we go, so by the time I get to Saturday morning, I'm ready to rock, so that's important. Let's go to this next one. You talked about this deep connection between the professional it and the personal it relative to a habit of avoiding conversations with staff. Talk to us about that one.
Well, myself personally, whether that relationship wise or even with my family, I never avoided those tough conversations. I never avoided engaging in deep dialogue respectfully with my family, friends. I'm that person that's going to tell it like it is. However, I'm going to be very, very respectful with that. And I actually carry that over into my professional life. The superintendent will pull me to the side and say, Dr. Jackson, what do you think? I gave that example on here before where she actually came in with a deep plan, Kafele, where she worked on it the entire weekend. And she presented us that plan to us on Monday. And I saw many things that were off with that particular plan. And she said, what do you guys think? And everybody was like, oh, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Well, I saw some holes in it. And I said, Dr. Pereira, that's not going to work. I say, well, and I always lead with respectfully and with love.
Yeah.
When I'm actually, communication is everything. And I said, respectfully and with love, Dr. Pereira, that's not going to work. And here's why. Majority of your executive cabinet is new. This is the second month of school. It's too early to implement that. Also, the two people we're about to make this shift with are well known in the community. It's going to be a culture hit for us. Whoa, I didn't think about that, Dr. Jackson. Well, I do the same thing with my family. You know, you guys are wrong for this. And I'll tell it to my sister. I'll tell it to my brother. But most importantly, Kafele, I actually lead by example. And I admit when I was wrong after reflecting. You know what? I was wrong when I did that. So I create that culture personally and professionally when it comes to that communication piece that you're speaking about.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff, y'all. Again, you know, we got a lot of young leaders on the call, whether it be assistant principals, new principals, or even veteran principals who are young. I just know, you know, based on me analyzing the data, because, you know, we get YouTube analytics, I know that we have a young audience. So I'm saying to you, sometimes it's easy to procrastinate and thereby avoid those tough conversations. But if you try to circumvent the tough conversations, then the issue will never be involved. And then hence there's that that's holding you back from trying to be where you want to be. Let's go to this next one. Talk to us about the deep connection between the professional it and the personal it relative to holding on to ineffective practices because they feel familiar.
Oh, man, that one is actually pretty deep, Kafele. But before I go into that, that word procrastination keeps coming up.
Yeah.
And I just want to give everybody a little small quote. You know, I'm always quoting something. But procrastination is the assassination to success. Procrastination is literally the assassination to success. It's a bad habit to actually have. That was on my mind. Repeat that question for me again, Kafele, that last piece. I want to make sure I get it all.
So the deep connection between the professional it and the personal it relative to holding on to ineffective practices because they may feel familiar.
And we do that so often in education. I actually was having this deep discussion and dialogue with someone, and we were talking about innovation in education. And they were telling me about how at their particular school that they're seeing something or they're doing something and they're implementing something and it's ineffective, but they keep doing it because the district is familiar with it and the district, it's a mandate from the district. And my response was the principal and the assistant principal at their school has a duty and a responsibility to shift. And you can't just go with the status quo if you know something is wrong. And I think something is wrong and not working. And we do that so often in education. I'm going back to my first year at one of the most lowest performing schools in Atlanta. Principal Kafele, I had a group of kindergartens, 85 of them, and only 4 of them knew their names. Only 4 of them knew their names. Only 4 of them knew their real names.
Wow.
So I had to, the curriculum meant nothing to me. I couldn't go to an English class with those kindergarten students. I had to teach them so much. So I had to do something totally different as opposed to what we were doing, what we were so familiar with and what the district mandated for us. Our entire school couldn't read. We were the third lowest performing school, third lowest performing school in the state of Georgia. Out of 1,272 schools, we were 1,269. I couldn't do what everybody was familiar with. I had to do something totally different. And you have to, what you're familiar with can actually be a nemesis for you. And unfortunately, in education, we've been dealing with this for years and years, decades, and there's no change.
That's right. That's right. Wow. But that, you know, what resonates with me most is that ranking, you know, and just the heavy lifting that you and your staff had to do in real time relative to where you were. So yeah, some of us would really struggle with that too. Good stuff. We got 4 more. Talk to us about the deep connection between the professional it and personal it relative to fear of change that stalls innovation.
And you mentioned Chat GTP and AI.
Yeah.
And man, that's a huge wave that's coming for us right now, and we're not prepared for it.
Right.
Our teachers are not prepared for it. Our students are far more advanced than we are. They are actually using it. Teachers and adults are using it and not realizing that they're using it. Grammarly, you're using it to spell check. All of that is considered AI. You mentioned the word algorithm. All of that is AI, and we're running from that. So we're so afraid of that change piece that you actually mentioned, and we're in a dangerous situation right now, Kafele, because our kids are more advanced than the teachers are.
Yeah.
So we have to get ahead of the game as it relates to that. But in order to do that, you have to have the knowledge yourself. You have to have the knowledge yourself. And in my current position, I'm on a team that is actually led by Dr. Barker in regards to this AI shift that we have to go through right now. And this is a huge change. Let me give you a quick example, Kafele. Right now, we're one of the first districts, one of 10 districts in the country that is using a program called Hey C. That's capital HEY, capital C. Google that when you get a chance. Our novice teachers, 0 to 3 years, they have their own personal coach. It's a little guy. It can be a little girl that talks to them every morning. Hey, Dr. Marcus Jackson, how are you doing this morning? How's everything going for you? Oh, I'm having a tough morning. Oh, that's okay. What's bothering you? And they're giving them advice. So what we had to do, Kafele, we uploaded all of our curriculum, everything in our district, student handbook, employee handbook, curriculum, all the professional development that we've actually done. And this little AI person is communicating with our teachers in regards to how to solve problems in their classroom. They have their own personal coach. That is a change. That is a huge change that's actually here right now that only 10 school districts in the country are actually utilizing. We have to change, and you can either evolve or dissolve. That's where we are now, and currently right now we're in quicksand.
That's interesting. I wrote it down. What does that C stand for? Do you know?
It's just C. Hey C is actually the name of the program.
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. I wrote
and
it.
So it's actually kind of dangerous too, because I actually remember one teacher was talking about her little AI person that she actually talks to, and she got emotional to the point where she was actually crying. And I was like, oh my God. And the little guy, his name was Chad. She was like, Chad is great. I talked to Chad. I'm on my way to school in the morning. And, before I go to sleep, I talks to Chad and tell him about my day. And I'm like, oh my God, this lady is really attached to this person named Chad on her phone, on her device.
Yeah.
So it's pretty deep.
I've heard about it, and it is dangerous in that regard, because people start feeling like they're talking to a real human being that really knows them and their situation, and as you said, to use that word, they become attached to that. So people have to have the wherewithal to realize they're talking to technology and not a real human being that really understands them, right? So there's a fine line there that we got to learn how to balance it all out. Good stuff, though. Appreciate you sharing that. 3 more, y'all. Talk to us about that deep connection between the professional it and personal it relative to overworking while neglecting health, rest, and balance.
I'm gonna get personal with you with my personal it.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about how you actually had a heart attack on stage.
Yeah.
In Miami, and the second week of December, I always do my my wellness check. I actually do my fitness test with my doctor, my checkup, my annual checkup that I actually do, and my health was good. I look up the part. I'm filled with energy, excitement, and enthusiasm. Yesterday, I'm sorry, every day. But Kafeli, I got my cholesterol results back, and my doctor said, Dr. Jackson, you was about 3 or 4 months out from complete blockage.
Oh, wow.
You're about 3 or 4 months out for a complete blockage and at high risk for an actual heart attack.
Mm.
And I looked at my chart, and you can see in 2023 where I was here with my cholesterol, and the doctor wanted me to wanted to put me on medication, and I said no. I said I know exactly what to do: turkey, fish, vegetables, fruit. Diet changed, and I joined CrossFit, and I was religious with it. I used to post it all the time, Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Definitely every single day. I'm jogging, treadmill, 30 minutes a day.
Mm.
Sometimes I just get up. Sitting is the new smoking. Sitting is the new cancer.
Yeah.
And I had to get up. And my cholesterol level dropped from here to here, below 110. And the gym closed. And I got lazy, Kafele.
Yeah.
Started eating. I'm slim guy. I'm a pretty slim guy. 6 feet, 190. I'm not overweight. Pretty good. But I wasn't exercising. I'm getting older. Skyrocket all the way up past 230.
Mm.
Dangerous level.
Yeah. So
So now I'm back to my fish, to my diet. And now I've joined the gym. And now I have to practice that self-discipline piece, or I'll be gone. And this is that time of year where everybody has their vision board and they have health mentioned in there. But usually the health component usually dies out in February or middle of February. Those are those cold months. I don't feel like working out
Yeah.
because it's cold.
yeah.
It's too cold to go for
Not
that
sooner,
walk.
if not sooner in January.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if I'm not okay, Principal Kafele, I'm no good to those 7,212 students I have to serve and my
Yeah.
team that I have to lead at work.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Y'all hear that one? That's that kind of hits home. I'm probably due for a physical at some point soon, and I look at them numbers, and that it's like any analytics that we do. On the school level, those numbers, what are we going to do with them, right? Are we just going to receive numbers and like, all right, right? Or are we gonna receive numbers and then we're gonna move differently as a result of what the numbers are dictating? Because as I always say, our numbers are our story. Right. I use that, when I'm talking about our educational data. But with those numbers that you get on that chart from your doctor, that too is your story. That is your physical story. That is the book, the article, the blog that you wrote. Right. But the good thing is, when we were youngsters, we learned about something called revise and edit. So now if your story is not a good story, it's not a pleasant story, you can now revise your story, right? And then you can edit your story so that when you get that new chart, you got a better conclusion than you had before. You got a better body and opening, for that matter, right? But that data is your story. I see Josh on here now, and Josh is always in the gym doing his thing. I'm in there doing my thing, and it's important. I'll say this last thing before we go to these last two. I always say to people that going to the gym is the worst time of my day. So on the one hand, in the front of my mind, I'm like, I don't want to go. But on the back of my mind, I know that this is going to benefit me. And that's what allows me to go, because I don't enjoy the gym. I don't enjoy exercise. It's just not fun for me. Some people, it's a lot of fun. It's not for me, but I do it, right? I forge ahead, right? And get it done, because I want to, like, we're at week 296. I want to be able to say one Saturday, we're at week 500, right? So that's a long way from now, but I want to be able to do that, right? Good stuff. Two more. Talk to us about the deep connection between the professional it and the personal it relative to saying yes to everything, leading to burnout and lack of focus?
Burnout. And I'll always take a quote from you, Kafele. First of all, in order to burn out, you have to be on fire.
Yeah, yeah,
You have to be on fire. But in regards to constantly and consistently saying yes, that can actually lead to burnout and lead to major frustration. Matter of fact, I was looking in the mirror the other day. I met with my executive leadership team, and we were actually doing some reflection, and we were bouncing off of one another. And someone asked me, Dr. Jackson, what is it about you that you need to work on this first half of the school year? And I say, on my end, I need to stop saying yes all the time. And I said, secondly, I need to stop explaining myself all the time as a leader. So those two things came up as a personal reflection for me on my end. And I actually have it written down as one of the it that I have to work on, Principal Kafele, and that's the delegation piece. On my end, I am so used to people coming to me for the answer.
yeah.
Dr. Jackson, how do we do this? Or how do we complete this? What do we do? And I'm always giving the answers. Or people are always asking me, can I do this? Or can this happen? And I have to learn to say no, or not right now. Or I can't get to that, or delegate. You need to give this to Dr. Matthews or Dr. Courtney, call them for this. And that is hard because if it goes astray or something don't go right, it's my duty and my responsibility. And I actually wrote this down, Principal Fele, and it's this little formula. High expectations minus support and coaching equals harassment.
Yeah.
And that is something I need to do on my end to stop saying yes all the time and actually do more coaching.
Yeah.
So I can delegate certain things, but coach those individuals on how to get the job done as opposed to me doing it myself.
Good stuff. Good stuff. You know, Doc, I'm actually trying to find a comment that I just had on the screen. Yeah, here it is. Just Kim 01. Some of us are in the fire and are burnt up instead of burnt out. That's a whole session, right? If I'm not gonna necessarily comment on it because I don't have enough specificity, but it caught my attention in a way. You know, every week there's a comment that really resonates with me, and that one I've never even heard that expressed that way. Some of us are in the fire and are burnt up instead of burnt out.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you address it. Let me just say this one thing to Just Kim. You're in it, Kim. I don't know how long you've been in it, in this work that we do called leadership, but I will say this: and then I'm gonna let Doc take over on here. If you feel burnt up, which to me is worse than burnt out, to me, right? I could be reading it wrong, or interpreting it wrong is a better way of saying that. But if you feel burnt up, then I would suggest to you, get the pen, get the paper, and list all those factors as to why you feel that way, right? Like what is it? So just list it, just brainstorm it. Everything you can come up with as to what's contributing to you feeling burnt up. Because as you said that, as it resonated with me, it's probably resonated with everybody on the thread, right? And in fact, most of the people on this call are not on the thread. So the people who are watching, right? So list them, and then ask yourself, which of these do I have control over, right? Ask yourself that question. Which of these that I feel burnt up about do I have control over, right? Then ask yourself, of the ones that you feel you don't have control with your team, assuming you have a team, assuming you have a circle, what is it that my circle can collaborate with me toward addressing why I feel burnt up, right? And then from there, now you start strategizing, because there's probably some things that you may want to do differently from how you're doing. Because as you say that, and I'm gonna turn it over to Dr. Jackson, I never used that language, but now that you put it in the atmosphere, I guess I was burnt up too, right? So I made certain adjustments, right? And literally made certain adjustments to my practice because of me feeling the way you just described, but I worded it as burnt out. I was probably burnt up, right? So, but ultimately, here was the ultimate shift. The ultimate shift for me, and this is not me recommending this to you, this is just me putting it out in the atmosphere, in the universe. My ultimate shift was I resigned, right? Like this place is not compatible with who I am. It's not compatible with my spirit. It's not compatible with my purpose. It's not compatible with my mission. It's not compatible with my vision. There's just no compatibility. There's no way in the world that I'm going to come up out of this fire in that environment. So let me find an environment that is compatible with who I am relative to purpose, mission, vision, and goals. And then that's when my career went like this to that. That's when it happened. That's when I received the Milken Award, which I would have never received in that previous district. Never would have happened, right? So with that said, Doc, take it away.
Doc, as you actually stated, that's a heavy statement, and I'm sorry, Just Kim, that you actually actually feel as if you actually in the fire. However, I immediately thought about my other book, 10 Daily Essentials for Assistant Principals and 10 Daily Essentials for Principals. And in that book, I actually discussed you have to establish extinguishing systems. You have to establish extinguishing systems in your school, or you will stay on fire. The building will burn down. You will burn up and be burnt out as a leader if you don't establish certain extinguishing systems. Give you a quick example. I learned quickly when I became a principal, an assistant principal. Man, this is too much coming at me at one time. So one of my extinguishing systems was a red, a yellow, and a green folder. And I had them on my desk. My red, that was something that had to be addressed immediately. I had to address that immediately. That yellow folder, that was something that could wait about 24 hours or that I can get to after school. And that yellow folder and that green folder, the green folder was something that was not as important, that I had at least 24 or 48 hours to actually deal with. My assistant principal and I established that was one of our extinguishing systems. Give you another quick example. Last year, we had some challenges at our middle school where the students were fighting after school, and it was occurring at one particular location. And this was about a week or two of the activity. So I was sent to the school. I met with the principal, and I was like, man, there's too many kids in this one area at this particular time. What do we actually do? What can we do? And then we eventually came up with moving the buses to a whole nother area where 70% of the students caught the bus. We had about 15, 20 buses that came. So they had to be released. They established that system. You have to establish extinguishing systems at your school. Also, what we established was these are behaviors that should be handled in the classroom. These are teacher behaviors, and these are behaviors that are office referrals. Do your school have that? I don't know. I know many schools don't. But these are extinguishing systems that's going to happen every single day, multiple times a day, and you must have a system to put those fires out. Parents, which parent? There are going to be sometimes parents going to come to school and they may not be able to get to me because I'm in the classroom. I had a schedule. I talk about that all the time, Kafele, about that schedule that I cannot be touched during this particular time. And I talked about those 4 Bs. Principal Kafele, that was a extinguishing system that I actually had in place to make sure that I got in those classrooms. So immediately when Kim wrote that statement, the first thing I said, there's a lack of extinguishing systems that's going on in that particular school.
I love it. Now, she put a follow-up on. She said, "I'm new." That speaks volumes. She said it's absolutely worst. I've seen other administrators feel like that. Hey, Kim, let me tell you this now, and I don't mind us staying here with you because we're still in the context of our discussion when we talk about it, right? Like this is it right here, right? So Kim, understand you're new. And I understand what you said about others feeling the same way, but I want you to really understand this. All of us, I don't care who you're talking about, unless you're talking about someone in some billionaire school district where everybody's friggin' born of wealth and privilege, right? But the rest of us, we all go through this in year one, maybe even year 2 and 3. We feel, I'm gonna use your language, we feel burnt up, right? Year one as a principal, because we could be assistant principal and we're just fabulous. Got this outstanding reputation, all this kind of thing. And then you transition into principalship and it's not the same thing, right? Because you're number one. So I want you to know that you're not alone with this. This was my reality. This is Marcus' reality. This is all our reality. And year being new, years 1, 2, and 3 is what I call 1 through 5 new, right? But for the sake of this platform, but really 1 through 3, that's new. It's tough because not only are you learning the job, but you're learning yourself, right? You see, until we're a principal, we don't know who we are as principal. Why would we? We've never done it before. So we're learning a job, but we're learning about ourselves simultaneously. And then within all that, we're doing something that no other leaders have to do. We're leading children and adults simultaneously. When you think about most aspects of leadership on a job, that's adults leading adults. But in school, it's adults leading children and adults, but not in separate times. It's happening simultaneously. So it's very difficult work, but you got this. But Stacey Joy, I think, said it best. She said here, praying that it gets better. Let me put it on the screen. She said, praying it gets better. Watch all the episodes from this academy and you will find light for your path. And I, I'm the host, but I ain't going to disagree, right? It's 296 sessions. Go to Amazon and get every book I've written. Then go to Amazon and get every book that Dr. Jackson has written. There's a lot there, right? And then all these other guests that we've had on here for 296 weeks since 2020. There's a lot of books that have floated through this platform, right? A lot of authors have floated through this platform. So you got resources here. So just utilize what you got, and then your resources outside of us. Obviously, I know that we're not the whole entire world, right? There's a lot out there. So just do that, but keep your head up, and do know that it gets better. It definitely gets better as you learn leadership, and as you learn yourself as a leader. Let me close my thoughts on this one thought. I don't know if you have an assistant principal or if this whole thing meant that you are an assistant principal, but I'll say this. If you have an assistant principal, that person has got to be an asset to you. If that person's not an asset, then I would be reckless if I gave my true feelings about how to handle that, because that person could be on here watching, right? So instead, I'll just say that you've got to make sure that AP or APs are assets to your growth and development as a principal, because it's nothing like having an AP that's a liability, right? You watch the session I had last week. I had a Philadelphia principal and one of his APs. They're like brother and sister. They are. I mean, they clearly there's love there, right, for each other in terms of just the professional relationship. That's ideal. That can be nurtured. But the principal has to take the initiative in nurturing that level of a relationship between the two. The AP is not going to do that. That's on the principal. Enough said. If you had anything else you wanted to throw in there, and by the way, Kim also said she loved that. I'll share this. Thank you. She said it while you were speaking. So yeah, so but Kim just Kim 01, stay locked into this academy now. Don't because I've never seen you before. Don't just pop in here today and then we don't see you no more. Stay locked in. We gonna go for at least 500 more. Let's go. I had one more, man. Let me jump on it. Talk to us about the deep connection between the personal it and the professional it relative to unclear priorities that impact campus direction and morale.
Man, Principal Kafele, you talk about that's a great statement and discussion point that you actually just made there. One of my favorite quotes from Jim Rohn states, "You can either run the day, or the day will run you."
Yeah.
I am actually very meticulous in regards to what I'm doing, and I call it my power hour. Every single hour, I don't go too big. Every hour, I got 3 little goals that I'm actually going to utilize every single hour. One of those goals, Principal Kafele, is I'm not going to use profanity because so much stuff come my way, and I got to make sure I keep my mind set. But if you organize your day down to the science, down to every single hour and every single minute, you'll find yourself in a better position, but with an understanding that even though when you plan it, expect the unexpected. Expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
So to actually respond to that question in regards to that particular it, and that last part, Kafele, again, one more time.
Yeah. I'll read the whole thing. Relative to unclear priorities that impact campus direction and morale.
As I stated, it must be organized. Everything must be organized and planned on what you're going to do, because people are actually looking for guidance in regards to what you're going to do and how you're actually going to do it. And if they don't have that direction, chaos ensues.
Love it. Hey, y'all. We still got stuff to talk about. Let me set it up for you. And by the way, I want to put a comment up here. Hey, Doc, it's so many comments in here. Dr. Michelle Perkins Griffin. I don't know if you had responded. Did you always have that, Doctor? Drop it in here so I could see it. But Dr. Michelle Perkins Griffin said this is why these sessions matter. Principal Kafele and Doc Jackson taking a moment to pour into and cover and encourage is why I love this platform. And then Kenyelle Sessions had said, yes, this community is the absolute best for us. We share each other's realities in a unique way. We family. And then I noticed that Just Kim said she's actually fam. I didn't realize that. She said I just commented for the first time because the quote resonated with her. So she's on here with us. So she's part of the fam. And it's always good to when the folks who don't comment. And by the way, she's an AP, right? So let me say this to you, Kim. One more thing. Understand, as an AP, and there's this book I wrote. You probably have it, but if you don't, I was trying to find yours, Doc. My wife made me make some shifts. Y'all notice y'all don't see like the stack right here. Usually there's a stack here. So she made me clean this off, man. So I can't find nothing. So I couldn't put my hands on your book, right? So, but it's here, Doc, but I can put my hands on this one. The Assistant Principal 50, right? If you don't have this, Kim, like get it like now. Just go to your other device and get it now. This is the most popular book I've ever written. As much as I love the what is my value instructionally as far as sales, the numbers, this is the book that's outsold everything I've ever written. So get yourself a copy because it resonates with a lot of people. So get yourself a copy of that book. That one is a bestseller, right? So get your copy of that book, and that may have some of the answers that you may be looking for. And then again, this platform, and then Dr. Jackson's AP book as well. But understand that the AP position, just keep this in mind. You're not there to be the principal. You're there to be the assistant. So whatever's being handed to you, just do it. And do yourself a favor, do us a favor. However difficult that job is, maintain a solid relationship with your direct supervisor, despite how you may feel. Because at the end of the day, you could reach out to me, because this is what people do. Kafele, can you write me a recommendation? They don't even know me, but can you write me a recommendation? And they'll reach out to other people on the platform. Can you write me a recommendation? The superintendent write a recommendation, but the glaring hole is the principal's recommendation.
Yeah.
It's not there. It's not there. Well, guess what? My credibility means nothing. Doc's credibility means nothing. Your superintendent, your mayor, your pastor, your whomever, it means nothing if that principal's recommendation is not there. So at your core is maintaining a solid relationship with that person, getting done everything that person needs you to get done, so that when it's time for you to make that shift, that person will write that glowing recommendation, because that's the one that counts the most. Enough said.
And Kafele, real quickly before we actually move on, and Jess Kim is actually stuck in my mind for a quick second. I want to give her a quote that I actually wrote early on as an assistant principal, and it's pretty simple. Failure is a part of the growth process. Learn to expect it, respect it, appreciate it.
That's it.
Because you can't grow without it. There's no growth without it. And what you're going through right now is your process. And you should be taking copious notes in regards to everything that's going on. And when I was in your position and when things were on fire, I was taking notes on when I become principal. When I become principal, these are all the things I'm not going to do. These are all the things I'm going to do when I become principal. So you're in that process right now.
You just got it, Doc. Look at the comment. She said, "Woo, that's good. Failure is part of the growth process." See, you got it. You got it.
Learn to expect it.
Yeah.
Respect it. Appreciate it, because it's necessary for growth.
That's it. We all been there. We know what it is. it's people on this thread, Kim, that I know, personally from the work. They've been through. I'll use the word. They've been through hell, but they still here doing it, and they doing it at a high level. But all of us got to go through this stuff, man. That's just what it is. We all got to go through it. But the question is, do you have the strategy to come through it?
And Principal Kafele, this is the reason you actually created this platform.
That's it.
You caught me in my early years as a principal, and man, I had to lean on you through some, man, what do you think about Principal Kafele? I screwed up on this. I will post something, and you were inboxing me and like, hold on, brother, call me quick. Let me help you out of that jam that you're actually in. And it was some serious stuff. And you're doing it now. That's a reason, contributory factor as to why you created this platform, because you saw all of us had the answers out there, and you wanted to bring it to these new APs and new principals.
That's it. That's it. Right during that pandemic, man. Sitting here stuck at home. Let's create something for the pandemic only. That's all it was supposed to be. Here we are. We going into week 297 next
296.
Hey, y'all with us? Let's go. We got some stuff here. So here you I want to set it up. You gave us these 4 leadership reflection questions, which actually turned out to be more than the 4, but it's these 4 categories called personal leadership, curriculum and instruction, operations and logistics, and achievement, culture and climate, So the way and this is, I'm not going to take credit for any of this. This is the way you worded these. You gave the audience, the fam, these self-reflective questions. And fam, something I did this morning? I mean, I was running late, and I said, I'm going to do the fam a solid this morning. I wrote these, I wrote them out and put them in the StreamYard so that you could actually see them. So in that way, you don't have to rewind this and try to memorize or take quick notes and all that kind of thing. I got everything that we're going to talk about inside of the StreamYard platform. So here we go. So let's talk about this personal leadership. And the first thing you said, let me go back to where I was. Here we go. You said, these are all self-reflective.
Mhm.
What is the personal it that I must stop, start, or continue that is either limiting or strengthening my effectiveness as an instructional leader? So to the fam out there, that question is for you to take ownership. What is the personal it that I have that I must stop, start, or continue that is either limiting or strengthening my effectiveness as an educational leader? Why don't you elaborate on that one, Doc? And if you got an example to give with it, let it rip.
Okay. Principal Cafele, this is considered halftime right now of our game of education.
Yeah.
Of course, we got the bowl games. We were actually filled with energy, excitement on Christmas Day with the 5 basketball games. But as instructional leaders now at halftime, you really have to take a deep dive into what I call the start, stop, continue process. Right now, in regards to what's going on the first 2 quarters or the first half of your school year, what are you going to start? These are things that are not being done that needs to be done. What are some of the things we need to start doing for better results? As it relates to stop, what are some of the things that are actually not working? And what are some of the things that are impeding our process? And as it relates to continue, I really want all the leaders to take a deep look into what are some of the good things that are actually going on? What are things that's working well? And what are things that we need to keep going? Now, to actually transfer that over to your personal side, that's going to help you be an effective leader. I already talked about the health side. I got to get myself together healthy from a health perspective. And that's not only just the physical, but I must do that from a spiritual perspective and an emotional perspective as well. Emotional intelligence, the EQ, is more important than your IQ at this particular point, because that Principal Cafele actually stated, you're dealing with adults and kids simultaneously. And many times you can't tell the difference between the two. Unfortunately, who's the adult and who's the child?
Yeah.
So you must be in tune with yourself at that particular point in order for you to be an effective instructional leader. You must have those components straight first. So my question to the committee, not the committee, but to the family right now, the AP and new principal family, what are some of the things you need to start doing? What are some of the things you need to stop doing? What are things you need to continue doing? And I'm actually doing that in my department. I just gave you an example, Doc. I need to stop saying yes all the time. I'm taking on too much of responsibility because my superintendent is depending on me to actually get it right every time when I have an executive director and a director that can do that work for me. So I need to stop saying yes. And additionally, I need to stop explaining myself. Because if someone asks me, why am I actually doing this, or why are we actually doing this? Even if I explain it, you don't have the knowledge to understand my thought process at an executive level. So certain things as a leader, I don't even have to explain it to you. And those are some of the things I need to start, stop, and continue doing.
Yeah. You know, this part B actually spills into everything you just said, but I'll put it up there if you want to say anything further. What behaviors, habits, or mindsets are showing up in my leadership?
Behaviors and mindsets. As I actually stated, on my end, I actually found myself when I went through this start, stop, continue process. I actually found myself getting frustrated with those individuals who was asking me and were depending on me for certain information. And at that particular time, Cafele, that was actually spilling over and it was affecting my mindset on how I approach certain things. And that's an adjustment and a shift that I actually need to make beginning in the second week of January.
Good stuff. Let's go. I don't think I need to go through the third one. Let me go to curriculum and instruction. Where we at? Here we go. So under the curriculum and instruction, teaching, learning, observations, and feedback, progress monitoring. Are observations leading to actionable feedback and growth? That's a big it there.
And Principal Caffelli, once again, I discussed this in depth in my 10 Daily Essentials for Principals book as well. And in there, I have what I call the cycle of academic excellence. And that particular cycle consists of some very, very important variables, Caffelli. It deals with lesson planning. It deals with the annotation and the actual studying of the lesson. The third piece, Caffelli, deals with the modeling and the actual practicing of the lesson. We're one of the few professions that actually don't get a chance to practice before we actually perform our craft. Teaching and observing, feedback, and the sixth, and what I think is the most effective one of them all, Caffelli, is the follow-up of the feedback. And through my research that I've actually done with my teachers, when I was turning around specifically the low performing schools in Louisiana, many of the teachers said I get feedback from my principal, and they would give me an area or two of refinement that I actually need, but nobody never came back to check up to see if I was doing that correctly. So to make sure that you have those six critical components in place, and that's lesson planning, the annotation and the studying of the lesson, the modeling practice, teaching, observing, and the feedback, and most importantly, the follow-up piece. That is extremely important. And when I talk about planning, Caffelli, that's part of the planning of the day. I have a principal right now, many of our principals in our district, which is led by under the leadership of Miss Yvonne Thornton. Many times you go to their school, Caffelli, you can't find them. I don't know where they're at. I can't find out. Where's Dr. Ruffin Brown? Where's Ms. Wright? Do you need to speak to Ms. Wright? Where are they? Are they in the classroom? Are they in the PLC session? You need to speak? No, I don't need to speak with them. They're always in the classroom. And many times I look for the leadership without seeing the leadership, as you say often.
Yeah.
And they're trapped in that cycle of academic excellence that I actually just explained to you.
I love it. I just want to reinforce or reiterate what you said in terms of that actionable feedback and growth. To the new fam out here, but maybe even the veteran fam as well. It's an exercise in futility. If you're priding yourself on visiting classrooms, but there's nothing being done with the information that you've obtained. There's no actionable feedback there. You just feel good that you went into classrooms, because I hear, people tell me I got into 10 classrooms. How? Right? I mean, I could understand if you popped in and out, but if you were there with the mindset of growing a teacher, developing a teacher, I just don't see how you can get into 10 classrooms in one day. Right? And at what point are you providing feedback? Right? At what point are you having that pre-conversation before you even go in, and then that post-conversation with the feedback? Right? So when you factor in those the front end and the back end of the two conversations, and then spending substantive time in a classroom, that's a whole day. So I would never even have as a goal, again, I'm distinguishing popping in, just to be visible versus I'm growing a teacher. I'll never have a goal of 10 classrooms in a day. It's impossible because there's too much of the coaching, pre and post, that has to be done as well to be able to be in 10 classrooms and dialogue with teachers at the same time. So that's not a realistic goal. If you could at the end of the day say, I visited 3 classrooms today, and I was able to talk to 3 teachers today, given all the other content that's on your plate, then you probably had a very good day. Right? So, but again, that a whole lot factors into how many the culture of your school, the delegation that you talked about before, all those things, and maybe you can do 5. right? But there are all these other underlying factors. Go ahead and jump on in here.
Kafele, man, and if the family, I wanted them to listen up very, very closly. And I talked about the cycle of academic excellence. If you're not planning side by side with your teachers, if you're not allowing your teachers time to annotate and practice their lesson, where you're actually giving feedback on the spot before they actually go in there, all you'll be doing is giving what I call autopsy feedback. Please stay away from the autopsy feedback, because if you're in there planning with them, watching them go through their lesson, practicing their lesson, you can actually give feedback before they even teach. And then when you get in there with them, you need to create what I call a remember when environment. We had this down pack when I was in Louisiana. All of our principals became thought partners of their teachers. So when they saw a mistake during an observation, we created a remember when environment. You remember when we were studying? Or remember when we were planning this event and we did da, da, da? And the teacher was like, oh, okay, yes, I remember that. And they would go back and correct the problem in real time, as opposed to waiting for the autopsy feedback. The lesson's dead. The students learning from that day is dead. You saw all of these problems and you saw all of these issues, and now you're going to tell the teacher about them 24 to 48 hours later. That's autopsy feedback. And when I was in Louisiana, Principal Kafele, and you mentioned pre and post, we actually flipped that thing totally around, and we started whisper coaching, or we started creating that remember when environments, because we were planning with you. Remember when we did this? And now that teacher's like, oh, okay, oh, I forgot. Yes, I forgot. And they can correct that problem immediately as opposed to waiting for that autopsy feedback.
Autopsy feedback. Wow. Let's keep moving. Get out of here. Let's keep moving. Got Ace with me.
That's Ace?
Yeah, he right up to me now. To the fam, I skipped one under personal leadership because it overlapped in the discussion, but I really should have put it on the screen for those of you taking screenshots. So let me just put that third one up here that's not it, under personal leadership. So how is my energy, presence, discipline, or avoidance impacting my decision making and visibility? We didn't go through that one because it kind of came up in the previous two, but I wanted to give you that wording at least. So get that quick screenshot. And so I'm gonna say this. Maybe I don't have to say this to this group. Y'all so sharp, but I've noticed something. I do a lot of Zoom presentations in terms of podcast presentations, and I see people. I don't have. Oh, here it is. I see people, and they'll use their phone and they'll take a picture of the screen, and I get it. But every time I see that, I wonder if they realize they can screenshot from the computer or the phone the same image without having to literally take a photograph of the screen. So for those of you that don't know, you can screenshot these live streams, right? Just the same way you screenshot anything else on a computer. If you don't know how to use that, just Google it right quick. And then you can do that real fast and you'll get a better image than if you took a picture like this here, right? So that's food for thought for anybody that might need that. So let me go. So the next set, we just did this one, our observation leading to actionable feedback. The second one, I'm not going to ask Doc to talk about it because we pretty much did, but I want to give it to you just if you want to do the screenshot. Are we monitoring progress with urgency and adjusting instruction accordingly, right? So that speaks to everything we just talked about. Get that pick in real quick if you're doing it, because I'm getting ready to change it, because I do want to talk about this one. Let us see. What instruction, and these are all falling under curriculum and instruction again. Curriculum and instruction, what instructional practices are being tolerated that should be addressed? Now, before Dr. Jackson jumps in here, I want to remind everybody, maybe I don't need to do this, but this is the teacher in me. These questions are self-reflective. These are for you, right? So you're asking yourself, you got your mirror. what instructional practices under my leadership are being tolerated by me, right? Being tolerated by me that actually should be addressed. Let me give it to you again. What instructional practices in your school with teachers you supervise that you feel are deficient are but actually being tolerated by you and should be addressed by you. So in other words, Dr. Jackson, he wrote all this stuff up last week. And the intent is for you to take ownership of these questions in terms of looking at yourself. So let me flip the mirror toward me, looking at myself as leader saying, there's certain practices in my school happening right under my nose. I know they're deficient. I know the young principal Kafeles of my classroom are not learning under these practices, but I'm tolerating them because they look good. The data doesn't support it, but they look good, but should be addressed by me. That should make somebody in this audience right now, in this fam right now, if you're that person, and say, ouch, you have just made me uncomfortable. I was having a good day, and now I feel somewhat uncomfortable because you are speaking directly to me. Floor is yours.
Principal Kafele, man, you hit the nail on the head with that one, and that's an ouch moment for several people. However, I want to take a minute to give some respect to Dr. Danielle Dickey. I don't know if many of you know Dr. Dickey, but he's been a mentor, educational leadership mentor of mine, and the guy is an instructional genius. And all the work that I've actually done from a principal perspective has been under his mentorship and his instructional practices. Number one, do your teachers have a deep conceptual understanding of the vocabulary that's in the standards? Is that even part of your repertoire from an instructional standpoint? And most importantly, I'm going to go by a quote from Dr. Dickey, who just wrote a new book, The Universal Language of Literacy. And in there, he has a quote, "You can't transfer what you don't know." Once again, let me repeat that. You can't transfer what you don't know. And I think many times we have an unrealistic expectation of our new teachers, but we expect them to transfer things that they don't know. And Principal Kafele, if you don't have a deep conceptual understanding of what your teachers don't know, you can't help them to transfer that. And assistant principals and even principals sometimes can get so busy. And I'm going back to Just Kim, who's in the fire. You can get so caught up in the fire that you can actually forget the main thing, and that's getting into those classrooms. And as Principal Kafele actually stated, you should be able to get into a school and see all your teachers every week, unless you're at a major high school. And some of your high schools, that's almost impossible to be able to do that every week. But your schools with that's less than 1,000, that you got 4 or 5 teachers on every grade level, you should be able to do some walk-ins every single day. And me, no, Principal Kafele, it wasn't 10 that I actually did, but I had my time. I'm doing at least 4 every single day. I'm in there so often. The teachers, the students are expecting to see me. I'm engaging in dialogue with my teachers so often. They are expecting to see me. They want to know, how did we do? I'm establishing a relationship when I walk in, where if I see something's going on, I'm actually addressing that at the moment. Remember, I talked about I'm in the planning sessions with them, so I know what's be going on during a particular lesson. And then I can always say to my teachers, remember when? And actually create that environment. But if you don't have that environment actually set up, you're doing your teachers a disservice. And unfortunately, many of our teachers actually, this is why they're walking away from the profession. They have high expectations, but they don't have the support and the coaching, Principal Kafele, and that equals harassment.
You equals harassment. I like that. I like that. Let's go to this next one. You've mentioned this language several times, but I still want to put it on the screen. Is autopsy feedback evident in my school? So we have it as a standalone now. So give us a little bit more in terms of what do you mean by that, autopsy feedback?
And, of course, in autopsy, people are actually going into the body to actually find out what happened. Was it cardiac arrest? Was it a gunshot wound? Was it some ailment? Was it a parasite or something that got in the body? But the person is dead. And in this particular case, the lesson is actually dead. Traditionally, what we've done in education, number one, we're one of the few professions that don't practice before we actually go into the game. I mean, we plan, but we don't practice.
Yeah.
And back in Louisiana, when we implemented this practice piece, we actually found out that some of the teachers were doing the math problems wrong. We had our math specialists in there with them. I'm not the math guru, but I had my math specialists in there with them. So we had a chance to get all the kinks out and the misconceptions. And I'm thinking about one middle school that we were at, which was led by Dr. Shauna Anderson at Molo Middle School, just so happened to be the middle school that I went to growing up. She had her 6th through 8th grade in the same PLC. She was able to line her schedule up like that, Principal Cafele. And the 8th grade teachers were able to see the standards that the 6th and 7th grade students didn't get. And they were able to help them. But all that was done by proper planning and actually giving feedback during the actual lesson, as opposed to autopsy feedback. We got an old traditional way. You go in, you actually do the lesson. You do the observation. You have your checkpoints. You're making your little notes, and then you meet with the teacher. Well, the lesson is dead. The learning for that particular day is dead. But if you don't have a system where you have a whispering coach piece set up, where you're not established those remember when statements, and you're not comfortable where your teachers say, can I add to that? Or have you thought about that in your classroom? Why are you going through everything is autopsy at that particular point?
Love it.
But we're trained that way, Professor. We're trained to do that way.
Yeah. Good stuff. Hey, folks, we still here. Let's go to operations and logistics. And you indicated this was arrival, dismissal, transitions, procedures, protocols. So let's look at these 4. And to the fam out there, get those screenshots in if you want to. So the first one, what operational must I stop, start, or continue to protect instructional time and improve efficiency across the campus? Let me say this before Dr. Jackson even goes. Some of you have a book I wrote called The Assistant Principal Identity. And then I wrote a follow-up manuscript, which I never gave to my publisher, ASCD. It's literally sitting in this computer, called The Assistant Principal Impact. I'm sitting on it right now for whatever the reason. And then there's a follow-up that I didn't write, but I wrote the outline, called The Assistant Principal Legacy. So those 3 books, the common thread between the 3 is that they are about protecting whatever it is, whatever the genre I'm talking about within the book, whatever it is that you've accomplished, you've achieved, goals you've attained, whatever it is, the key word, the common word, the thread that cuts across all 3 of those books, which includes the one that many of you have, the Assistant Principal Identity, as opposed to the Assistant Principal 50. That's not part of the conversation, is this word protect. That word is so significant in the work that we do. So when the statement here says, what operational must I stop, start, or continue to protect instructional time and improve efficiency across the campus? Let me just say this part, Doc, real quick, and then I'm gonna turn it over to you. So we have certain things in our lives, entities, people, that we protect with every fiber of our being. So we'll protect our family. We'll protect our home. We'll protect our automobile. We'll protect certain jewelry, right? Or like a wedding band, right? So, and certain other artifacts that we have, we're going to protect it. Well, let's take that same word and apply it to this self-reflective question. What operational it must I stop, start, or continue to protect instructional time and improve efficiency across the campus? You got to protect that instructional time the same way you protect those things that you treasure, that you value in your lives. Because if you leave it unprotected, I'm probably taking all of Marcus' thunder, but if you leave it unprotected, then the young principal Kafeles, and you know that, you understand what that means, that are sitting in your classrooms are going to suffer. And that suffer is not necessarily short term for that one school year. If you force me to suffer in grade 4 or grade 5 or grade 6 or whatever grade, that could have lifelong implication, not just real time when it's happening. It could impact adversely the rest of that youngster's life. That's why you got to protect. With that being said, I know you got more to say on top of that. So go ahead, hit it, Doc.
Doc, you hit the nail on the head, man. You have to protect that instructional time, and that operational it is where so much time can actually be lost. While you actually discussing, I always like to give an example. And when you get, I'm thinking of not only elementary school, but most importantly, middle and high school. And where most time is actually lost is during transition time. When it's time to go from class to class, that's where all chaos and all HELL breaks off during that particular time. I'm going back to one of my principals, Miss Jett, in our particular school district. When she was at the middle school, she actually noticed this. So what she did, Principal Kafele, was, our mascot is tigers. So what she did was put tiger paws in all the hallways. And instead of her teachers being on duty by their door, they were outside their door, but they were in the middle of the hallway. So therefore, those students had to go this way. The other students had to go this way. And teachers were greeting students, still greeting them before they went to the classroom with the fist bump. But it was in the hallway. That adult was in the middle of the hallway. So therefore, Kafele, you couldn't go across to touch Billy. You couldn't go across to hit Johnny with your book bag. She totally eliminated that by analyzing. She was actually watching her game film. She was like, why are all these problems and issues going on? Because too many students were congregated. So she moved the teachers from the door, and all the teachers had to do their duty in the middle of the hallway. So those students traveling this way went south. Those students going north went north. And she cut down so much confusion. They were walking on the paws, which is our mascot, but they had adults in the middle of the classroom. So they were able to protect. Tardies went down big time.
Wow. Instruction
went up big time. Test scores went up big time. And of course, you had other factors, but that was something I actually saw firsthand. And I was like, when did you guys think of this? And they actually said it was just too much going on, and all of it was happening in the middle of the classroom, in the middle of the hallway. So that was something that they actually did to protect that time, Principal Kafele, and it worked very, very well.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I can visualize it. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Let me go to this next one. Where are we at? Here we go. Where are systems breaking down or being inconsistently implemented? Let me remind fam out there, particularly anybody who checked in late. These questions are for you to look at yourselves, right? Where are systems breaking down under my leadership or being inconsistently implemented under my leadership, under my watch, under my nose? Go ahead.
I can go back to Ms. Jett, and actually that example I just gave you, that was actually one. And then I can go back to a principal who I work with, Mr. Anderson, last year, where we actually had major problems after school with carpool riders, walkers, and bus riders, all was being dismissed at the same time. So he had to make some major changes. We had to completely move the bus ramps to the back of the school. That was 70% of our school rode the bus, and they had to be dismissed first. So that means all the bus riders were going a particular way. No other kids should be in any type of area of the school because the bus riders were being relieved. You were going down one particular hall, and we had teachers where in the middle of the hall to prevent any confusion. Secondly, your car riders. Everybody, this is secondary school, so all the car riders, where did they go? We sent them all to the cafeteria. We had about 200 of those. They had to go to the cafeteria, and we dismissed them just like we did in elementary school, where we had someone on the outside with walkie-talkies calling for each student to actually come out. And of course, all the walkers who used it, who at one time, when the car rider was outside, you didn't know who was the car rider, who was the walker, or who was riding the bus, because all of them came to the same place at one time. So that was an operational system that was broken, that he actually had to fix. And of course, I just gave the example with Ms. Jett. And you have to pay very close attention to those operational systems, because they can cause chaos if not done implemented effectively.
Yeah. Hey, fam, what operational systems do you have in place? What operational systems may need to be adjusted? What operational systems may need to be obliterated, and we start over, right? So just keep that in mind. These are great questions. Great, and in fact, they're timely questions because we're in this break right now. So good stuff. The this next one, and I know you addressed a lot of it, but I wanted to again put it on the screen so that folks could take pictures of it if they're so inclined. But I did want to. There's a piece of this I wanted you to address. So what routines are costing us time, clarity, or calm? I want to focus on calm, right? Because I know you kind of talked about that, but that time and clarity. But what routines are costing us our calm? What would you say to that?
Oh, Kafele, if I can jump on that real quickly, and that's teacher support. If you go to any school, and I've been to some of the most challenging schools in the country, and Kafele is always between 2 and 8% of those students who are actually causing that chaos. I'm talking about some major chaos, and if those teachers or the school can actually do something with those 2 to 8% of those particular students, then you'll have a calmness of the school. But we're not charter schools. We can't put you out. And of course, we're not a private school. So in a public school setting, you have to work with those particular students to create a system of calmness or a school of calmness. And that's by supporting those particular teachers. That's something that will not be tolerated. The use of profanity, disrespectful behavior to those teachers. You have to create systems in place to actually not only give those students consequences, but to actually support them with their particular behaviors as well. And many times, Kafele, those behaviors are deeply rooted. You gave an example of Devin. I think you had about 3 months ago, you had Devin's whole presentation, an interview up, and it was so many. He kept speaking about, I don't want to go to school. Those people don't understand me. If you had a deep conceptual understanding of Devin, you'll be more, your response to Devin will be differently when you found him with his head on his desk sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You would know that he was homeless and he had issues that he actually had to deal with at home. So in regards to that particular statement and that question right there, teachers supporting your teachers for those behaviors. Do you have systems in place to deal with those students who are causing the most trouble?
Good stuff. Good stuff. Fam, let me give you this last one. I'm not even going to ask Doc this one. Just are procedures supporting learning or distracting from it, right? Because we talked about it, right? Are your procedures, your current systems, your current processes, do they support learning or are they distracting from it, right? Get that screenshot down or take the note, whatever it is. And then when you get some downtime, all these questions, just self-reflect, self-assess, and then self-adjust, right? That's important. Let me go to this. We got one more category and then we done, y'all. Achievement, culture, and climate. Let me read it again. Achievement, culture, and climate, it. And that's the whole focus today, the it. Effectiveness of instruction, how people feel. So let me put these up. We got the first one. What is the it? What is the it I must stop, start, or continue to improve student achievement while strengthening the culture and climate of the school? Turn it over to you.
Principal, if I can go back, Principal Caffelli, if I can go back to that cycle of academic excellence. I think at this particular time, everyone who's involved in education, educational leadership, actually do a deep reflection into those 6 areas. How does your lesson planning system look? What needs to start, stop, and continue? Why are you planning? Are you actually annotating and studying your particular lesson? During your planning time, are you modeling for those novice teachers so they won't have to go to that little person on that screen?
Yeah.
Do you have systems actually set up where you're actually practicing, where you're modeling and practicing, where those math teachers get a chance to come in here and you're doing a unit on this particular lesson on measurement? I want you to bring 2 problems that you need to work out. Do you have a system set up like that? Secondly, how does your teaching observation schedule look? A quote of mine, Principal Caffelli, is the only time you're doing an observation is when the observation is due, is no longer an observation. It's an obligation.
Yeah.
And the feedback is moot. It doesn't mean anything. How can you come in my classroom, Dr. Marcus Jackson, and you haven't been in my classroom September? I'm sorry, you haven't been August, September, October. Now on November 12th, the observations are due, and you're coming in on November 11th. You haven't seen anything, you don't know anything, and you're coming in for 15 minutes and you give me all these negative reviews, and you don't know anything about my teaching style. How does your teaching observation system look? How does your feedback look to your teachers? And most importantly, what follow-up systems do you actually have in place? If you're not really addressing those 6 areas, this is the time to actually do that now. Take you some time off. I've taken me about a week off, Caffelli. I'm going back in the lab next week when I leave the Bahamas, celebrating Kwanzaa, and my mind is actually racing, even on my vacation, which is why I sent you that all of these hits. Yeah. After you prepared, man. And I felt some frustration through your text message, man.
It's all right. All good.
Okay.
As they say, monitor and adjust. Yeah. So we use that one another time. This is great stuff. Let me keep it moving. Where we at right here? You said how am I monitoring the effectiveness of instruction beyond test scores? Let me say this before you go. It's so easy, particularly when you're a new administrator, to get so bogged down into test scores to forget that there's so many other phases and facets of education beyond being prepared for an assessment, right? So I found this one to be timely. How am I monitoring the effectiveness of instruction beyond test scores? Talk to it.
Caffelli, that's a huge one right there, because there's so many different ways to monitor the effectiveness of the teacher's instruction beyond the test scores. I just gave you an example earlier where I had those 85 kindergarten students and only 3 knew their name. So when we got to writing alphabets, I had to teach them the alphabets first. Because they came in not knowing them. And as a principal, I'm putting my principal hat on now, Caffelli. All I wanted to see was growth. All I need to see is evidence of growth. And if I go into a particular classroom, and I went into this particular classroom last week, and that student couldn't write a letter C, and I come back that next week and that child could write a letter C, that's good enough for me. And I'm going to praise the hell out of that teacher for ensuring that that particular child who didn't know this knows this now.
Yeah.
And that was a part of the core and the fabric of praising our teachers for actually growth. And there's so many different ways you can go with that, Kafele. Number one, you go into a classroom and you have a group of students who are known for being in that 2 to 8%, Kafele, but they're engaged in that classroom. Kafele, that's a growth. That's growth, because the child is engaged. He's quiet. He's actually learning. That child will grow. So this is extremely important to praise our teachers for our students' growth. And if you've known me, Kafele, since you've known me, I've never worried about the test scores. I've never said anything about test scores. And if a teacher or if a child is asked or a teacher is asked, why are we learning this? And the response is, because it's going to be on the test, we have failed that teacher and we have failed that student.
Yeah. I
can just go back to you and I can just imagine your principal days. That was never your focus. The test scores that eventually took care of themselves.
Yeah.
You ensure that they learned the standards and it was culturally relevant. That was your focus. And the test scores took care of itself.
That's right. Took care of themselves. You know, we certainly emphasize the importance, but that wasn't my reason for waking up in the morning.
Correct.
I got bigger fish to fry. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let me go to this next one. We're almost there, y'all. We're in the last category. This is a big one right here. When teachers, students, and parents enter the building, what emotions do they experience? There are some people I have to just imagine, surmise that this is not a big deal. But for me, as principal, and others that I know, this matters like exponentially. When the teacher, when the student, when the parent enters the building, what emotions do they feel? So let me take the parents out of it for a second. I know this is your sentence. Let me just add my 2 cents. Let me take the parents out for a second. When teachers and students enter the building, man, I need them up here. So there's got to be structures in place that increase the probability that walking through the front door, man, I'm feeling good about being here today. But now a parent who comes to the building, I want parent to feel, man, I feel good walking in here. This is a good place for my child or my children because of the way we have a big sign in the front lobby, welcome parents, right? Big poster. First thing they see when they walk in, right? And then we go from there, the way they greeted, all that kind of thing. I don't want to take away from where Dr. Jackson is going to go with this, but this one really resonates with me because it's when we're talking about the beginning of the day, it's the launch of the day. And if that launch of the day is not what it needs to be, then the rest of that day may not be either. So that matters. But with that said, let me turn it over to you.
First, Kafele, once again, you hit the nail on the head. And this falls in the category of what I call the census. What is the census of the school? What do people see when they come into your school?
Yeah.
And that's before they even get into the school.
That's right.
Is the grass cut? Is there any trash in the front of the school? Secondly, Kafele, what do they feel when they come to the school?
Yeah.
And going back to you, I'm saying, and I got this vivid picture of you, and you may remember this picture. You had on this trench coat. I can assume you was in carpool duty or something. You had your, it looked like shades, but it was your glasses.
Yeah.
And you was ready to go, man. You looked like the Black Kojak, and you had a serious look on your face, but you was greeting people at your door. That was extremely important to you. I can only imagine nothing will keep you from being in that front and center, greeting your teachers and your students every single day. So what do you see? What do you feel? And if you saw a teacher, say again?
With the kufi on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You remember that picture.
Mm-hmm.
And if you saw that a teacher was off that day, or if you saw that a student was off that particular day, you kept them right there, which hold on for a second.
Yeah.
Let me touch, but I'm not going to allow you to enter because you got something going on. I want to take care of you.
Absolutely.
So what do you see? What do you feel? What do you hear when you enter the building? And you've touched on this so many times, Kafele, and you've been to so many schools around the country. What do you smell when I enter your school?
Yeah.
What do your teachers smell? So it's very, very important from an emotional standpoint to go through the senses of the school and make sure you put systems in place so your teachers and students and your parents see a great, clean environment for learning.
That's right.
They feel good about coming into your school. What do they hear when students are transitioning? And how does your school smell? And that dictates all of that, what I actually just mentioned there as it relates to culture and climate.
Love it. You know, I have, I got these 4, I call them my 4 intentionalities. I use them for teachers primarily. When the students enter your classroom, what do they see, hear, feel, and experience, right? It's, and I use that not only with the classroom, but I use it in terms of just my life. When I go places, like if I go to, just off the top of my head, if I go to a Knicks game, New York Knicks, what do I see? What do I hear? What do I feel? What do I experience? Right. So anything, vacation, you know, walk into a hotel, right? Walk a resort, you know, whatever it is, that's my fallback. So when I think about the school, for the principal, when they're walking in the building, the teacher, when the students are walking in the classroom, or when the teacher is walking into the school, and then not only just arriving, but when you're in there throughout the day, what do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? What is that emotion? But what was the experience? Because at the end of the day, and you've heard me say this a zillion times, and you say it as well, the experience matters. And if we can create an experience that is memorable, that's magical, that made me feel whole and complete, it changed me, it shifted me, then it makes the rest of the work that much easier because of this experience we created. You know, when I go to a concert, there's certain artists that create experiences that are memorable for the rest of our lives, and other performers don't have the ability to do that. Right. I won't even drop names, but some of those artists create magic. They're not just singing and dancing and performing and playing an instrument and so forth, but it's something about the totality, the experience of being in that room for a few minutes just stays with you forever. Well, that's what I wanted to bring to the school, that this experience is magical. This experience is memorable. I will never forget this. And when someone was my student, let's say at age 10, age 12, age 15, pops up on Facebook at age 45, right? Age 40, whatever it is, and still thanking me for the experience.
Yes, sir.
Then I'm saying I did my job. Right? Because they don't have to do that. You don't have to 30, 40 years later come back and tell me thank you. Right? You can just keep going with your life. But the need to say, man, Cafe Lady, and if it's in their 40s, then it was certainly Mr. Right? So Mr. Cafe Lady, because I was their teacher probably. Thank you for that experience of being your student. That's it right there. It don't get any better than that.
And that's what we try to create, that experience within our schools and that experience in your classrooms. And all the viewers on here from the family, you know of that teacher that actually creates that experience with the classroom. And we as educational leaders, we have to ensure that teacher becomes contagious and actually able to spread that knowledge in regards to creating that experience for their students.
You know that, and that word you just used is the word contagious. I like what Derek Butler just said. This academy is helping me because I want to have my own school, Leadership Academy Theological School. So, Derek, I don't know if we've ever met, but let me say this to you right quick. And if you want to chime in, Marcus, feel free. Hey, Derek, you put that out in the universe. You know what that means, right? There's no turning back. Right? There's no turning back. You put it in the universe. I magnified it by putting it on the screen. So I want to put friendly pressure on you, right? Friendly pressure. You put it out there. I just magnified it, and now I'm articulating it. Make that happen. Don't let life's challenges and obstacles and dead ends and roadblocks and all that kind of stuff. Don't let that hinder you from making that vision. I want to go beyond the word dream. That vision become your reality, right? That's my 2 cents to you, Derek. I don't know if we met or not, but if we didn't, we meeting right now, right? So don't let life be the obstacle that prevents you from making that school become your reality, right? I love it. I love it. I love it. Go ahead. Anything to say to the good brother?
Just remind him of the process, as I did with Kip.
Yep.
Failure is a part of the growth process. Learn to expect it, respect it, appreciate it, because it's necessary for growth, for that vision that you have to come to fruition. Kafele just prep you on it. Be ready for those obstacles, because they're coming.
Yeah.
And they're going to come quick. No, you can't. You don't have the funding for it. You need to do this. You need to do that. You can't. You're going to get plenty of that. All of that is part of the process.
I love it. Look what Adrian just said. No joke, as a new mom, I'm looking for the best options for my son. Dirty schools are automatically out. I need to know that leadership cares about my baby's health like they do their own.
Ooh.
That's a mic drop. Bam.
Yeah.
Let me go to this last. I think we got two more. Let's go. Let me see if that's the right one. Do people, well, we don't even need to do this one. Do people feel seen, heard, valued, and supported? If not, why not? Let me just put that up. Somebody take a screenshot right quick. I'm not gonna, we exhausted that one. Do people feel seen, heard, valued, and supported? And if not, why? Screenshot that real quick, somebody. I'm getting ready to change it over to the last one. Here we go. When students and teachers wake up in the morning, do they say to themselves, I get to go to work, or I got to go to work? I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk that one through.
That's a huge thought process in regards to when you wake up in the morning. Teacher attendance is at an all-time low, Principal Kafele. In many places, student attendance is at an all-time low. We made a huge mistake coming out of COVID, Principal Kafele. As I stated to you way back in my podcast after COVID, we forgot to stretch.
Yeah.
We forgot to get into game shape.
That's right.
We jumped straight into the game. And it didn't take long before the Great Resignation came, where we had 2.6 million teachers quit. The first year we went back to school after COVID. And I think some of us still suffer from that. Are you taking care of the mental well-being of your teachers, your students, your staff, your principals? Do you have an accountability partner? Do you have someone at work that will be happy to see you and is concerned about you when you're not at work? I had one of my IT guys. I didn't see him for 2 days. He works with instructional technology, and I would see Bill in our crossing by because I'm always in schools. I would see him at least 3 or 4 times a day. And first day, I didn't see Bill. Okay, maybe he was off. The next day, I didn't see Bill again. So I took it upon my initiative to call Bill. And I said, Bill, man, I didn't see you at work for 2 days. Are you okay? And he said, no, Dr. Jackson, I'm not okay. I had some real serious challenges and some things personally that I'm going on. Then the guy started crying. And he said, nobody checked on me, Dr. Jackson. He said, I'm going to be out for the rest of the week, and I'll be back next week. You don't know how much I appreciate this call. And Bill says he looks forward to seeing me every day. And I look forward to seeing Bill because he know he has that person. So when Bill wakes up in the morning, I was a part of Bill's, I get to go to work. Because I can't wait to see my boy, Dr. Jackson, as opposed to I got to go to work.
Yeah.
So have we created that environment at our school where our teachers wake up in the morning and say, man, I get to go to work, as opposed to I got to go to work. Excuse the grammatical error there, but I think everybody get it.
Yeah.
But the principal creates that culture and climate within their schools. The teachers create that culture and climate within their classrooms. And there's a huge difference. And you have to be very, very intentional in regards to creating that environment.
I love it. Do I got to go to work? Or
I get to go to work.
Go to work, man. That's and you know, those are just words to live by, fam. You know, it's you know, let me personalize it right quick, and then I'm gonna close this out. This academy, 296 consecutive Saturdays. When I start the process on Wednesday of preparing, in fact, I send the I start prepping the guest on the Saturday, like after this, then I call next week's guest on the same day, Saturday, just to get them ready. Right. Then Wednesday I start prepping, but you know, Saturday I'm telling them what I need from them. So anyway, I'm saying that to say this. I've never had a Saturday in 296 weeks where I said, I got to do this. Yeah. My mindset, and you know, and I'm not, this is not fluff, fam. My mindset is I get to do this.
Yes.
Yeah, I get to come on here and bring my guests and talk leadership. And remember, I ain't getting paid a dime to do this, except the YouTube money. I told you it's gas money. That's all they give me. It's enough to fill my tank of my new ride sitting out there that my son just shoveled out the snow. My new ride. I ain't gonna tell you what I got. Just my new ride is clean now. I'm assuming, right? But my point, I get to do this, man. I love this platform. If you didn't know, what Biggie say? Now you know, right? I love this platform, man. I get.
And Kafele, you do it on vacation.
I do it on your vacation, man.
You do it sick.
You do it sick.
You do it sick. You do it sick.
Yes, what I'm saying. Yeah, I did this with COVID.
Yes.
I had Annette Facing on here. She's on here now. AD Facing. I had COVID, baby. And I still did this. Yeah. You know, so I get to do this. And that's the point. So when you walk into the building, when school opens back up, I guess that's going to be on the 5th, right? Are you walking in there with the mindset, I get to lead this school, or is it I got to lead this school? Or in the AP capacity, I get to be AP, or I got to be AP? That's only you can answer that question. So maybe you got to spend a little time right here. Hey, Doc, you got any of your books with you? Because I did this thing. You know, my wife made me look how clear it is over here, y'all. I ain't got my stuff. No, it's the whole table, right? So I can't put my hands on nothing now because I ain't got time to explain it, y'all.
You can find all my books on my website, drmarcusjackson.com. That's DRMARCUSJACKSON.com, and it'll pop up. You'll be able to see all my books there. The assistant principal, the principal books I actually spoke about, as well as the social emotional books, and the essential systems for school success. So you'll be able to find everything, all of my books there. And for those assistant principals who are actually struggling and really grappling, grab that 10 daily essentials for principals that actually help you prepare your day. I actually interviewed over about 500 highly effective assistant principals, and some of the things I did when I was an assistant principal and mistakes I made, and I actually put all those things together and start doing those 10 things from that particular book to help you out. And to Miss Kim, go in and look at that extinguishing system. And reach out to me. Email me at drmarkjack@yahoo.com. That's drmarkjack@yahoo.com. I have several people reaching out to me, and I'm able to give them some advice or two. Principal Cafelli, I'm like you, but I don't hold on to the knowledge. I spread it because I give it to the assistant principal. I give it to the principal. They're going to help a teacher. That's going to help a child.
That's it. Can't hoard the information. And Just Kim said, how can you get the books? So just go to Amazon, and you see all his books there, and obviously mine are there as well. So just go to Amazon. But Doc, I was getting ready to close out, but I refused to close out because of a comment I just saw. Lysandra Brackens, who's been with us for a very long time, she said, principals, please take note. I drive to work in tears, in fear of what type of negative interaction will occur with my principal in person or via email. I can't close out when I see, because it's right there on my screen, and I see that people are giving you encouraging words as well. Let me say, and we'll give, Kim, we're going to give his email address again in a second. Hang on a second. In fact, someone may have written it, but let me say this to you. I'm just going to give you the short version, Lysandra. I'm not going to spend, 1 o'clock, 1:19 giving you my sermon, but I'm going to say this to you. While and this may sting just a tad, but it's all good. While you're driving in tears to work, what that translates into for me is that you have given the power over your emotions to your leader. And my wife just said, yep, right? You can't live that way. I understand the necessity of the job. I understand the climate, the political climate, and thereby the economic climate and the social climate that we are living in right now. I understand it. But I am not, hear me, I took all the smiles off my face on this one. I am not giving someone else the power over my emotions. That's not going to happen. Right? So I'm saying to you, yes, obviously you're in a bad situation right now. Hopefully that person is not on this call or doesn't even know I exist, because I don't want them to see this. Right? So, but I am going to say to you the same thing I said to Kim, right? Just Kim, 01. You're going to have to list down what's going on, because sometimes, we try to balance and juggle stuff up here. That doesn't work. I remember in the old days of this platform, the guest would say something profound. In my mind, I say, oh, I'm going to memorize that. That thing was so profound. I don't even remember it by the time we go off. So now I write it on my notes. And I save those particular notes, the hard copy, so that I'll have it. So I'm saying to you, you got to write down, you got to list like what are the issues, right? And which of those issues do I have control over? And if I don't, who's in my circle? And how can I lean on them? And now how can we collectively come together and we strategize? Right? In terms of what it is that I need to do differently so that I don't have to go to school, because you're not in position to say I get to go. You're not there. You in a mindset I gotta go, right? I don't want you to be there. I want you to be in I get to go. But I'm also going to tell you this, Lysandra, your situation in terms of you even sharing that with us publicly is extreme. So me, I'm not staying there. I'm not going to abruptly quit, although I have done that. But that's not for you, right? I'm built the way I'm built. I'm saying to you, you need to be plotting right now. You need, if it's at that point, because see, it's one thing, I'm frustrated, man. This job is getting to me. But you went further. You said tears, right? So now when you at that stage, all right, that's not the place for you to be. Because that's impacting home. I know it is. That's impacting your personal life now. So now you got to start plotting. You got to start planning. All these guests I bring on here. See, some of y'all, I'm sorry we going over, but we here. Some of y'all, because I know about this. Some of y'all be calling some of my guests. That's not a bad thing. Because y'all see the guests and say that's a resource. So y'all be reaching out to the guests. That's what you should be doing. I say to them, put out your contact information, and some of y'all do that, and you have found success through my guests. They have helped you off camera. Others of y'all, you just watch the guests, love the presentation, and you let it go. But see, some of y'all like, yo, these are human beings just like me. They put their pants on just like me, one leg at a time, right? Let me reach out to them. They may have some answers. And quite frankly, a lot of y'all reach out to me. I know. Right? So, and I've always been there. The only time I'm not always there is when you ask me to be a part of your dissertation study and you need like 5 hours of my time. I'm not always there for that. Right. And so some of y'all who may be on here right now, you know it. I tell you, nah, I ain't got that kind of time, man. You know, because I'm busy. But in terms of a conversation, yeah, I'm always there. Right. So, Lysandra, I'm saddened by that. And that's why I'm spending all this time on it. Then you got to listen to Marcus. Right. So yeah. Well, can I say it? All right. My wife just said you got to set some boundaries.
Yeah.
Right? You got to set some boundaries. You can't, nobody has to go. You got degrees, Lysandra. Nobody has to go to work with that. You know, dealing with some jive people. I know that's a 70s slang, but it's one of my words. Dealing with some jive people. I don't deal with jive people. When you show that jive side to me, if it's work related, like it's on the job, I'm gone, man. I'm out. Why you think I left East Orange School District? I was dealing with a jive superintendent. So I said, I'm not dealing with this. And in fact, I'm in it now, so I'm going with it. So the mayor called me, said, don't go. The board president called me, don't go. Board members called me, don't go. The superintendent, no, he ain't called me, right? But the rest of them, he the one I left for. So now they calling me. The mayor, like, Kafele, don't go. I'm like, no. I'm out of here. I'm going somewhere where I'm appreciated. That's the word that Marcus used earlier. Where they appreciate me, where they respect me, where they embrace me for me being myself. I left. I ain't dealing with no jive people. So I go to Newark, the Essex County Vocational Technical Schools. And now I'm down there. And I get the Milken Award. Man, I wish I could reach that thing. I got the Milken Award, right? I wouldn't have gotten that in the other place. Ain't no way in the world that them two brothers out in Los Angeles would have heard of Baruti Kafele and snuck into my building and gave me this Milken Award with the Commissioner of Education and all them dignitaries and all that media. Ain't no way. I see you, Vinny. I see you. Ain't no way in the world that would have happened. I had to change the scenery. I had to change the environment so that I could be me. Because in that other environment, I wasn't me. So I went to work angry every day. I went to work mad every day. But when I changed environments, not because of the kids and my staff, but because of my boss. But when I changed that environment, I went to work with a smile, baby. Oh, man, I went to work feeling good, baby. I went to work ready to conquer the world. That's what I'm saying to you. If it comes down to that, you can't go to work crying. Ain't no way. You can't go to work in tears. You can't go to work anticipating negativity that may occur from the principal or verbally or through an email. That's not healthy. That ain't no way to live. So you take it from your brother, Principal Kafele, right? That there's a building out there, whether it be AP or principal. Probably I'm under the impression you're an assistant principal. So there's a building out there that's got your name on it. It's got your name on it. But you got to search for it. You got to locate it. You got to identify it. You got to find it. But there's a place out there with your name on it. Because that place where I went to North Tech, I never heard of that school. I never heard of it. But somehow a connection was made, and there was my name right on the building. Oh, I planned to be there for 1 year, and I was going to start my entrepreneurial venture as a consultant. 1 year. I said, I can put high school on my resume. I'm staying here for 1 year. And I fell in love with that place. I said, okay, I'm going to do 2. And I kept falling in love deeper. I said, okay, I'll do 3. And then after that, I said, okay, I'll leave with the incoming freshmen that I came in with. I'll leave with them as seniors. They graduate. I'm like, I still ain't leaving. I stayed year 5. I stayed year 6. And then finally I said, all right, I got to start this entrepreneurial venture. Because by then I was 50. See, I was going to start it when I was in my 40s. Now I was 50. I said, all right, I got to go. And I went on and left. And I'm 65 now. And I'm still doing the work I was doing. See, so I'm saying to you, somebody, I'm saying to you, Lysandra, and I'm saying to the Lysandras out there that are listening, you ain't got to stay there. Don't tell me nothing about no economy. I get it. But you got to go here. What is it about you that distinguishes? Because they're still hiring APs and principals. That's still happening. So, but what is it about you that sets you apart from the rest of the pack? See, what is it about you? Ain't nothing special about me when I got my first principal job. I just made sure the superintendent knew that I was born. I made sure the board members knew I was born. How'd I do that? I went to every board meeting and sat in the front seat, center aisle. They couldn't miss me. I'm sitting right there staring at them. So then when the end of the first board meeting, I go up to the dais and shake their hand and introduce myself. I'm Baruti. I ain't say I was looking for a principalship. I just said I'm Baruti Kafele. So then when I was ready to apply, oh, that's that guy. Yeah, that's that one that be sitting in the front row center every week. It's him. Oh, he seemed hungry. Yeah, starving for that job. It happened like that, y'all. You got to be strategic. If you just going to sit around and apply when everybody else apply, then you one of 1,000. Ain't nothing different about you from the rest of them. But for me, it was the crowd, and then it was Baruti Kafele. I ain't talking about my skills and ability and all that. I'm talking about the fact you knew I existed. I mean, think about it. It's other podcasts and live streams and all that out here. But guess what? Y'all know about Baruti Kafele. Y'all know about Principal Kafele for some reason. I ain't going to get into the reasons, but for some reason, y'all know about me. But I'll say this, because I made sure you know about me. How about that? I made sure you know I'm here. I made sure you know I'm here on Saturday morning. It's somebody else out there that wish you would go there. But you don't know that person exists. But guess who you do? You know me. You know I exist. Because I know how to distinguish myself from the rest. I know how to do that. And that's what you got to know. Enough said. I don't know what you got, Marcus, but give it to her.
No, Principal Kafele is right. You need to work on your exit strategy. But in the meantime, to actually get you through that, find that it at the school that actually brings you pleasure. Find that it, and it's in the classroom. Find you that teacher to support, who needs support. Connect with that teacher unlike no one has ever connected with that teacher. Find that group of kids in first grade in each one of those classrooms who need some help, and go by and grab 1 or 2 from each class and find your place in the library, and you go through their sight words with them for 30 minutes. You see what I'm saying? You go by a group, find a group in the second grade and go back to your teaching and your learning piece. Stay connected to that piece while you get through these last couple months. If you have to stay there, that's when once you make that connection, that strong connection, that's when you're going to be able to say, okay, I get to go to work now. I'll be working in small group with little Marcus and little Baruti today. That's going to bring you peace. I used to do that every day as a principal with all those crazy chaos going on. I used to go back to the teaching. I used to go pull kids every single day, and that made my day. So that's the advice I have for you.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, man, on the AP New Principals Academy, Sean Hurd at 10 o'clock, Create and Educate at 10:30, PGP podcast, 6 o'clock Eastern time. These are all Eastern times on Sunday. We family, y'all. That's who we are. So when we see that one of the fam is hurting a little bit, we ain't letting that go. We all of us as hosts, we see these threads, right? We see it. Right? We may not put every comment on the screen, but we see it. So we fam, we ain't gonna let you just hang out there by yourself. We here, right? So look here, hey Doc, they want your email address one more time.
Yes, that's Dr.
Everything one more time.
Yes, that's Dr. DrMarcJack at yahoo.com. And of course, my website is DrMarcusJackson.com. Please don't hesitate to reach out. And finally, Kafele, we made a shift to talking about it.
Yeah.
And you opened up with that great today. And that it was instructional leadership and teacher perception.
Right.
That's it. That's a new acronym.
That's it. Hey, fam, I wasn't going to ask you for the emojis, but I see y'all started. So if today's session hit the mark, if it resonated with you, if it's some good information, some useful information you can incorporate, utilize in your practice, and give us those emojis. Bring them. I wasn't going to ask you, but a lot of y'all started, so just keep them coming now. At this point, keep them emojis coming, man. I thought it was great too. Matter of fact, this session was so good, man. Let me tell you, I'm gonna do something different, y'all. I got my new setup over here. Oh my God. I'm gonna do something a little different today, y'all, because today was slamming. I got two bats, man. I got two, man. So he came up, man. He brought two bats and just hit him out, man. He hit him out at Yankee Stadium when the Homestead Grays were playing there with Josh Gibson. You see, there's another Marcus Jackson on here too. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Yeah. So good stuff. Hey fam, I'm gonna close out with my usual closeout, but before I do, if I could just close it out from my heart before I read the script. Hey y'all enjoy the rest of the holidays, whatever you celebrate. If you're into anything Kwanzaa or just hearing some good stuff, then join us on BER. Just go to Facebook put capital letters BER. Don't put lowercase, you won't get us. Capital letters BER or Black Educators Rock. And we'll be on every day at 8 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be on the camera the last day, and the last 2 days, the 6th day and the 7th day. So that would be Kaumba and Imani. But I'll be on watching and commenting all the days. So starting last night and then tonight, 8 o'clock, and then on throughout. Come on and check it out. And but other than that, enjoy the holidays, enjoy your family, recharge your mind, your emotions. Get ready to have a strong year, the strongest year ever in your life, personally and professionally. But on the professional side, since that's what this is about. Elevate your game, right? But all the steps, them, because we've been sharing them for 296 weeks, right? So you got all that, the books that Marcus and I have written, incorporate it. Don't just read it and it was a good read, but make sure you're infusing that into your practice. I got some books I'm reading that I got recently. I've been sitting back on AI, so I got some books that I'm going to familiarize myself a lot more than I am. Because I gotta catch up, because it ain't going nowhere, right? It ain't going nowhere. So I need to know what I'm talking about, so that I can infuse that into my work, because it's in schools. So I can't be so old school that I'm not a part of that conversation. I want to be a part of that conversation, since it's here to stay. Love it or hate it, it's here to stay. So with that said, let me close this out. Marcus, stay on. Join me next week, y'all. Y'all know we always hear holidays. Today's not a holiday, but if it was Christmas, those of you that don't know who were not with us, when Christmas was on a Saturday, we were here live for 2 hours, right? When New Year's is on a Saturday, we were here live for 2 hours. This is what we do, right? There are no days off with the AP and New Principals Academy. So week 297 next week. This because I'm part of the Milken family. That's the Milken Award. If you don't know what that is, I'll show you the video next Saturday when I come on, so that you can know what Milken is all about. That's a prestigious award. They call it the Oscars of education, and I was blessed to receive the Milken on December 1st, 2009. So I bring Milken fam on every January. So I got my Milken fam, my Milken sister, Haley Elaine Couch. We're gonna go one-on-one. She's a instructional coach guru. She's been on before, but I had her on with other Milken fam. This is just gonna be me and her, and we're gonna talk about the challenges of being an instructional coach, right? Not instructional in terms of administration, but instructional coach. We're gonna talk about some of the challenges, obstacles, pitfalls, and the rewards of being an instructional coach. So we got a big session planned for next week. So join us for week number 297. Keep in mind that number 300 will be here. I'll have Milken guest on for that, but we still going to celebrate in some kind of way, right? So that's 300 will be in January. That's big for me. Facebook Live every Saturday morning. Sean Hurt, 10 o'clock, 10:30. Create and Educate with Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor. AP New Principals Academy, new time. Next Saturday, 11 o'clock. I ain't doing the 55 no more. 11 o'clock. That way I could watch Sheikah and Tammy all the way through. That's the reason. I just want to see them all the way through. So that'll be 11 o'clock start. So if it's like 11, if it's like 10:57, 58, 59, and y'all like, he must not be coming on. No. I'll be on at 11 o'clock live, right? So 11 o'clock new time. And then PGP podcast on Sunday at 6 o'clock. Josh Tovar, Dr. Madi Moreno. Make sure, let me put this on the screen right quick. If you don't have a copy, get yourself a copy of What Is My Value Instructionally to the Teachers I Supervise. Also, earlier I talked about the conference I'm doing in South Orange, New Jersey. I'm not going to put it on the screen now, but you go to my Facebook page and scroll down and you'll see it. It's February the 16th on President's Day. Come on to South Orange, New Jersey. I don't care where you are in the world. Fly to South Orange, New Jersey. We got a great conference, Nurturing Greatness. And Salome Thomasell, Dr. Salome Thomasell will be the keynote speaker. So come on and join us in South Orange, New Jersey. I'll put the flyer on my page today for those of you that came on late and didn't see it. I'll put the flyer on all my social media platforms because we want to see you in the building. If it's not today, then it'll certainly be tomorrow morning. Where we at? Join me in Savannah, Georgia, July 9 and 10 for the School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele, but I'll have more information on that later. I just want to put that in your head. Subscribe to the AP New Principals Academy YouTube channel. We got 24,700 subscribers. My goal is 25,000, and then we'll talk about a new goal. So if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Just go to the channel now, AP New Principals Academy, and hit that subscribe button, and then hit the notification bell. Be a part of that 24,700 subscribers that we have. Visit principalkafele.com for additional resources. And then finally, and then I can stop all this stuttering because I'm talking so fast. Your diet, your exercise, your virus precautions. I was on a flight the other day leaving leaving Charleston, South Carolina. And man, let me tell y'all something. It felt like we were in the emergency room. They were coughing and sneezing all over that flight, right? Including the person that was sitting next to my wife, because she sits in the middle, because I don't do middle. Right. So she sits in the middle, and then there's a guy. See, ain't no shame in my game. You sit next to me and you coughing, I'm going right in my bag. I'm pulling out that mask and I'm putting it on with you watching me. Right. So I put the mask on. That's my virus precaution, baby. So make sure you're taking them precautions because it's a lot out here. You know it. I can get sick today or tomorrow, right? It happens, right? But they're out here, right? So make sure you're taking care of yourself. Other than that, y'all have a great remainder of the year, a great week, extraordinary week, your best week yet. Peace. Flip it. Peace. Thumbs up. Cock that fist back all the way. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Bam! I see y'all in the new year, 2026, January 3rd. There's a reason I memorized that date, by the way, because y'all know I don't be knowing them dates. Because the Knicks play the Sixers, and I will be in the Garden that night. That's why I remember. I got season tickets, baby. I'll be there. I'll see y'all later.